Welcome back to Métropole Grid. It's a new year. It's the 2023s. Gonna struggle to say that right for a bit. How's everyone doing? Happy New Year. Welcome back. Hopefully you're doing well. Had a good holidays. We're back a bit slower than we thought we'd be. We were meant to stream last year, but we couldn't. We ran into some issues, but we're here. How's everyone doing? Cyberpunk 2023. Yo, Keith, how's it going? How's everyone doing? We got a bit of a surprise stream. It's a Monday afternoon, a bit of a sleepy gray afternoon here, but I'm super excited to be here and, with y'all. It's been a while. We haven't streamed in a couple weeks. We got some videos that went up for the last couple weeks, but it's good to be back. Happy New Year. Sparksign, how's it going? How's everyone's holiday been? How's the new year been so far? Technico Skylar, hey Andre, I hope this is an ob deck focus since it's Rush B. We're going to do the deck list of the week. Actually, we probably won't do this deck list of the week. I want to do this deck list of the week. I don't know if you've all played Gaslight and like hard-hitting news. It's kind of messed up. Like I played some Controlling the Message Gaslight. It's a problem. It's just honestly like it feels like the rudest Netrunner I played in a really long time. Like they have to trash the Gaslight, otherwise there's a hard-hitting news on the table. Yikes. But the reason why it's called Rush B is we're going to be planting some bombs. I think we're going to try some Sabo. Hey Frank, how's it going? Happy New Year, Andre, and everyone else. How's your New Year? Abellion as well. Mr. Pele, Twitch. Hey, how's it going? Surprise stream and Fight Night just got announced. Seabass. Yeah, Fight Night just got announced. Give me 1 second. We'll get back to that because that's really important and it's really soon. Oh, it's really exciting as well. How's it going, by the way? Hey, Alec. Hey, Veronica. Say it. How you doing? Pretty good. Hey, good to hear. It's been a minute. Doing pretty great. Happy New Year to you as well. Happy to see the surprise stream. Yeah, so in short, we were meant to stream on Thursday last week. We had a scheduled like regular Thursday stream. I went to go hang out with family over the holidays, and normally, so my partner and I, we have a car that we drive occasionally. It's like a 16-year-old little car. It only has 100,000 kilometers on it, and it's tiny, it's small, and it's okay, but it's not something we want to drive for a long distance with. We also have a cat, and it's like not, it's kind of loud. So we generally borrow another car. So we borrowed my partner's stepdad's car. It's a big old Jeep, and we got it there. A bit of a strange smell the week of. Turns out that smell was burning oil, and turns out we were just leaking oil. We were like literally an ecological disaster driving 6 hours down the highway, just oil slick behind us. Good luck everyone else. I hope everyone's okay. We ran out of oil, and then finally the engine light gets on like a week later, and it turns out there's a crack in the oil pan at the bottom of the engine block or whatever, and yeah, it's really expensive and it's fixed. But we were I don't want to say stuck, because while it is stuck, it has a bad connotation. We had to stay with family longer than we thought we would, so hey, this is where we go. Gaslight is gross. Gaslight is so messed up. It is like really messed up in a hard-hitting news deck. The write-up here from Leetrode talks about like really ridiculous lines where you can just like, you know, ob for what's his face for Drago and then just kill people on the table turn 2. It's ridiculous. Hey, Johnny Reese, happy New Year, handsome. Oh, thank you. Happy New Year to you as well. Yo, Frisbee, Ben, how's it going? Went to Sunshine Coast for Christmas, was great. I don't know, because the way that you capitalize that makes me think it's either the West Coast of North America or a place you get brunch, and I'm not actually sure. I'm around when you're streaming, so either can watch fun stuff or properly invade. Time will tell. We'll figure out how that goes. Say it. Surprise. Yo, Chenchling, how's it going? Happy New Year. Oh no, that sucks so much. It's like, it wasn't our car, so unfortunately, the repair costs were not our problem. We found a really nice like mechanic shop that had really good reviews, and we went in there and they were absolutely lovely. And so they had to fix all this stuff, but like they couldn't figure out what the problem was, because it's hard to diagnose where oil is leaking from when the entire engine is literally coated in oil. So they have to like shampoo the engine and then like put dye into it to see where it comes out. And then it turns out the oil was getting into other parts of the car, like into the coolant system, into like the antifreeze, into the windshield wiper fluid. So they have to flush all that because you don't want to spray oil on your windshield. That seems like a problem. Yeah, so it was a bit of a nightmare. But I feel like Jeep doesn't get enough flack for naming a car the Cherokee. I feel like that's hella weird and doesn't get addressed enough. I just don't think you should be able to do that. We had a Cherokee. It's not a good car. Glad to have the stream. Joda, hey, how's it going? It's part of the mainland along the coast from Vancouver. It needs a ferry to get there. You need a ferry to get to the mainland? What? Had to do the same thing last month. Not fun. Same problem with oil. And it's like, I don't know. I don't think Jeep as a car is like I'm not a car person. Like we barely have a car. I'm not a car person, but like, I don't think Jeep is synonymous with quality. And like we looked online, like we could kind of self-diagnose what happened. And the first thing that came up was like, oh, there's clearly a crack at the bottom of this pan. You're leaking oil. It's going to be expensive to repair. And it was like the first thing, and everyone's like, this is a Jeep problem. Good luck. It turns out that was what the issue is. So that's good. What car do you have? We have, I'm not exactly sure. It's like a Chevy Clio from 2008 or something. It's really old. It's a really old tiny car. It's technically like you can sit 5 people in it. Yeah, it's small, it's nice, but like we barely drive. That's one of the beautiful things about Montreal. And admittedly, when the winter comes, we put the car in storage because we could not be bothered to dig that thing up, let alone move it around from street to street from snow clearing, considering how much we use it. But like we use it to get groceries sometimes. But the beautiful thing about Montreal is in the summer or in the slightly off summer, you can bike everywhere and public transport is good. So this is not a city where you need a car. Like if I reckon we had kids, maybe this is not like Holland or the Netherlands where like you could get around by a bike entirely, but it's what we have. My partner's car, and it's, yeah, we don't use it a lot. I used to own a Jeep and eventually blew a gasket among myriad other problems. Not a fan of them. Yeah, I think that's kind of the universal appeal. Even my dad, who's more of a car person, at least repairs his own cars. He was talking about like, you know, Jeep, since it was bought out by Chrysler, you know, huge inlets, steep terrain, ferries, the best way to get across. Oh, that's super cool. Bartosz, Europe time? It's Europe time. I don't know whether you're referring about public access transport, about the fact that we're streaming at 1 in the afternoon, but hey Sauce, how's it going? Happy New Year. Okay, real quick news stuff. I don't know if there's a link anywhere, but this is going to be super cool, and it's next weekend, and I've been really excited for this. If you're watching here on this channel, you don't have to do anything. Maybe you want to subscribe to this channel, hit the follow button so you'll get a notification. But this weekend, there's a big Netrunner tournament going on. It's going to be hosted here. There's going to be another Netrunner tournament the week after. We'll get to that. But this is the round 1 of the 2023 Fight Club. If you're not sure what Fight Club is, the link's in the description. This is an older one from 2021, I think. This is on Vesper's channel. But basically, the crux of what Fight Club is 4 of, I think it's 4 this year, yeah, 4 big Netrunner testing groups, some of the bigger player groups, come together, and they have a televised tournament in which the players face off against each other. This tournament has similar rules to Crown of Servers. Again, I have to kind of look at the rules again because it's just this Saturday. But the idea is that each player on the team has to basically play a different ID, at least, if not a different faction. And they're going to be playing in a 1-loss knockout format to see which team is left still standing. We did one last year on this channel. We did the finale on our channel, again, link in the description, for Fight Night 2021, which is a really exciting event. And I'm not going to spoil the ending, but it was very, very good Netrunner. So the new one is coming up. It's going to be this Saturday on this channel. The 2 teams that we're seeing, and I think there's 4 teams invited this year. This is all put together, mind you, by, it's not a Null Signal Games thing. This is organized by PSK, Princess Space Kitten, who you might know as the organized play person from Null Signal, I think 2 years ago, maybe 1 year ago. PSK is great, and still behind the scenes, she's doing some stuff. And so let me just check who is going to be up on Saturday. So Saturday, at it's going to be 15 o'clock, so 3 o'clock in the afternoon Central Time, which will be 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern, so on the Eastern Coast, 6 o'clock West Coast of America, if I'm not mistaken. So it'll also be on a VOD, of course. The teams we have are the first place team at Worlds versus the second place team at Worlds this Saturday. So Team Unbanned is going to be represented by 4 players: Sokka, 234, the world champion, the King, Brandon, Sebastian K, very creative deck builder, and Odal, who is, I think, the predominant Smoke player. Classically, we'll see if Smoke comes out. They're going to be representing Unbanned, the team. Again, a lot of these players of this team technically won Worlds. And then second in Worlds as well is going to be the Snare Bears, who's going to be represented on Saturday by Cable Carnage, Deer, Janktivist, and Analyze Chris. And I'm very excited to see all these players. And of course, the biggest thing is that this is going to be the new meta. This is the first large, I think, prestige tournament. And large is probably not the right term. Obviously, it's an invitational. There's only 8 players. But if you want to look at high quality, high caliber Netrunner in the new format, this is going to be probably the first tournament of that, assuming nothing big happened that I don't know about in the last couple weeks. Now, of course, the week after that will be the Circuit Breaker Invitational Tournament. That's going to be the following weekend. So if you want to see what the good players think the top decks are going into that tournament, this is a good thing to look at and look at the decks and see what they think the meta is going to be. I think this tournament, it's going to be huge if you want to see, again, maybe what Circuit Breakers can look like, or maybe what sort of things you have to address. So I'm really excited. That's, again, it's going to be here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon Central Time on Saturday. I think it's Saturday. I'm pretty sure it's Saturday. And it's going to be 9 in the morning here. We'll be streaming the whole event. It's going to be fantastic. I'm really excited. Are we going to get a nice, nasty Whiteblade deck? Hey, Scrub, I don't know. Whiteblade's not playing. He's not representing, what's it called? Snare Bears. Not that doesn't mean Whiteblade and the rest of the Snare Bears who are not represented in those 4 players aren't going to be behind the scenes helping build decks and testing. So you're probably going to get a bit of that Whiteblade mustard on something. But Whiteblade's not exactly playing. But I'm still stoked. I think the other 2 teams that are going to be represented further on in later weekends in the year are going to be, if I'm not mistaken, let me just double check to make sure I'm not wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's NWE and The Process. But just give me 1 second to clarify. So that is not incorrect. Yes, NWE and The Process will be playing it out, and then there'll be a winner's finale. So the winner of one group versus the winner of the other group to get the grand final of the Fight Club. So that's going to be early this year. I'm really excited. The stream's happening now. It's not Thursday. Hey, Kat, how's it going? Happy New Year. Hey, PSK, there's PSK. It's Sunday the 8th. Okay, so not Saturday. It's super important that we get this right. It's the 8th, which is next Sunday. So in less than 7 days. Again, it starts at 15 o'clock Central, Eastern, or Central European time. I think that's where we put the prime meridian. It'll be 9 in the morning Eastern. Hey, I prefer playing Corp, but runners have so many cards and combos that Ice offers almost no protection. Often seems hopeless and not so much fun. Is there a real issue? Do I still just suck? Modern, how's it going? I struggle to say the last word attached to your name. I think it's Plague. I'm pretty sure that's not how you pronounce it, but that's how I've been saying it. Modern Plague. Yes and no. I do think one of the big issues, if you give enough time to a runner, yeah, ice can start to not matter as much. I do think as our core plan, if your strategy is just, I have good ice, the ice is going to slow them down and stop them, you are probably going to lose more games than not. That's sure. And I don't think for a long time Netrunner has been about, can you just have good enough ice and that will win you the game? So you're going to have to rely on other things, defensive upgrades, of course. Alternate win conditions are super important, whether it's tags being relevant, program destruction being relevant. There's a lot of other things you can do on top of that, damage being relevant, of course. So I think it's a mix of both things. I think you want to play a clean game and a fast game that generally helps with that sort of stuff. But you're right. Right now, there are so many ways that runners can deal with ice outside of, you know, what's it called? Matching strength, whatever the term for that is, and breaking stuff with the proper programs, whether it's Boomerang, Botulus, Bankar, obviously Endurance. All that sort of stuff is really powerful, but there are ways to deal with those cards. There's ways or cards you can put in your deck to help you with that. But it's definitely very powerful right now, but it's not the end. I do think if your deck, again, is just ice and I'm going to score agendas behind ice, you probably are going to be in a bad spot. So try and figure out if you can put some defensive upgrades in there, maybe some traps, and something like that, that will generally open up win conditions. Because those decks are generally really good at doing one thing, and maybe if you attack them on a different angle, you can get them. Hey, Lori, how's it going? Happy New Year. Will they be releasing lists? I think so. I'm not exactly sure whether it's open deck lists, but I know last time on the stream, like this image here, we had the deck lists for the stream. So they will be submitting their deck lists, and I believe we'll be able to show them. So you will be able to see the deck list, I'm pretty sure. I think that's likely to mean it's an open deck list format, so the opponents will be knowing each other's decks. So we'll see. We'll see. I think so. We gave priority to new teammates who've never done a fight club before. And yes, all deck lists are publicly posted before the event. Oh, that's really cool. That's a really cool thing. I'm assuming that's just a Snare Bears thing. That's awesome that we get to see more Snare Bears, because there's I don't know, I think I asked last time, there's like maybe a dozen Snare Bears, 13 Snare Bears last I asked. And I don't know if y'all can name all of them, because some of them don't get the limelight the others do. Thanks for responding. Thanks for asking a question. Ask a question whenever you want. You must mean it's not HBETF with Caprice and Say anymore? Seems fake IMO. You can do something very similar. Like you can still play good defensive upgrades behind reasonable ice, and it'll get you there. Fight Club sounds really cool. Hope to catch the stream. Yeah, and if you don't catch the stream, obviously we'd love to have you. The VOD will be up on the channel, so you'll find out either way. Hey, Jason, just tuning in now. Is it correct that the Fight Night decks have to represent all factions? Yes, it's the same rules as Crown of Lasers. I know that all factions have to be represented. Oh, excuse me. At a minimum, IDs can't be duplicated. I think you need to represent all the base factions, but I haven't reviewed the rules document. There's someone here will probably correct me, but I do know that it's very similar to the Crown of Servers or Crown of Lasers tournament structure, which encourages diversity in decks. I'm not actually sure the nitty gritty of it, but I'm pretty sure. I know you can't replicate IDs, but it's also going to be, for that reason, a very exciting and a diverse meta, because you're going to be seeing at least one criminal, one shaper, one anarch, maybe one mini faction. We'll figure out. Why does everyone love open decklist format? Seems like a great way to make sure there's no surprise tech brought in. Scrub, I don't think it's because people love open decklist format. I think people are excited about that so they can see the decklists on stream and then go play those decklists and then bring them to like the circuit breaker next week. I don't think people actually enjoy open decklist tournaments more than non-open decklist. I do think you see less splashy Netrunner, less like traps and like what people call Swiss cheese, which I'm not a big fan of Swiss cheese Netrunner. So sometimes it makes the game more interesting. It actually can, as like having perfect information, as much as that isn't perfect information, can make the game more interesting. I do believe in that. But yeah, you're not going to see like, here's my weird ob combo deck that pulls out, you know, Reaper function at instant speed to flatline you. Like you're going to see less of that, unfortunately. Hey, Tanuki, Euro-friendly stream. Happy New Year to you as well. Thank you. I lost track of how many of us there are. And Cat's responding to Scrub simulates a top cut format, also disfavors gotcha decks. Yeah, it disfavors gotcha decks. And yeah, it's at top tables, and a lot of these players are top table Netrunner players. It simulates what that looks like, which is open decklists. Yeah, it also helps. Like open decklists, one of the big reasons why open decklists exist in modern Netrunner is that it was a format, or it is a process that doesn't punish people for not being parts of Netrunner teams. That's why open decklist exists classically. The idea is that if you're part of a play testing group of like a dozen people who show up to a tournament, and then you're going into a matchup against somebody else on your team has played, they might say like, oh, I played against so-and-so. Watch out, they have this in their deck. And then you get an advantage that isn't afforded to somebody who shows up as like a lone gunslinger to the tournament. So open decklist was added, I don't know, it feels like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe to this point, just to help level the playing field. So people who show up as solo people from out of town are not inherently disfavored because they don't have, you know, a team of people helping them doing reconnaissance, as much as that's technically a gray space of rules legality. Open decklist makes my Ampere sad. Imagine playing against an Ampere with open decklist. It's so hard. Everything is like, oh, did you see one of this, one of this, one of this? You need a big notepad.exe. But yeah, at least they'll see you coming to some extent. I'm out of breath. Less is the impact of scouting, although in less particular format that might not be much of a problem. Yeah, scouting was a big thing with open decklist. Hold on, I gotta catch my breath. Hey, Andre, how's it going? Yeah, negates a scouting advantage that any organized group could get. Happy New Year, everyone just tuning in. How you doing? It's been a minute. Hopefully you're doing well, eh? All right, let's play some Netrunner. It's been a while. It's been a while since I played Netrunner. We've actually missed a couple deck lists of the week because we weren't here. I just want to see what they are. I know we missed the Atom World Tree list. And I'm not sure which one we missed in the mean. Oh, of course, we missed Deer's list. Deer, mind you, is going to be playing this weekend, this upcoming weekend, the Cabinessa World Tree list. So it's 2 World Tree lists in a row, just to make sure these decks get a shout out. So this is Pelu's Atom Happy Little Tree deck. The idea with this deck is that you have World Tree, and World Tree has been the center of a lot of conversation. I don't know if you've seen the Eric Whiteblade Keelback wrote up the article on StimHack talking about how World Tree is potentially a problem, but how to fix it is not banning World Tree. If you also watched, we did a runner or a set review on this channel and on Sangren's channel, and I talked about, and we both talked about how this card is probably eventually going to get banned. I don't see a way around it. This card is absolutely buck wild and just opens up way too much and is so hard to interact with, and allows Shaper to produce everything it needs at instant speed almost all the time. Yay! And you're seeing decks like this. This is actually a deck that was called out in that article talking about how a deck with 65 cards is still somehow the most consistent deck in all of Netrunner, on the basis that World Tree supports all of it. And that might seem like a downside. How do you get your one of World Tree in a 65 card deck? It doesn't matter. You have Cabinessa Wu, so Cabinessa Wu can pull the World Tree at instant speed. It's insane. I've been having a great time with the tree. Say it Zero. I had no doubt that this is going to be one of your most exciting cards, considering the way that, or the sort of decks you deck built. So that's the issue here. And that was the crux of the article. Let's just open it really quick. I think it's a good read. It's not that abrasive, right? Wow, never mind. It's called Why I Hate Shaper. But the short and the long here is that while World Tree is an exciting card and maybe could exist as a tier 2 inconsistent, clumsy, and expensive weird Shaper nonsense card, the problem is that in a deck that can pull it super consistently and then have it be on a ridiculous amount of fuel and click compression and the ability to tutor one-ofs in your deck, whether it's your economy, whether it's your narrow win conditions, whether it's the best breakers for certain matchups, you take it as it is. The problem that Eric is highlighting here is that maybe the issue is just Cabo. Cabanessa can make these 65 card decks consistent, and because she can pull the World Tree. But if the World Tree is your game plan, ideally you'd expect a deck to have 3 of them, and maybe if it doesn't draw the World Tree on turn 1 to turn 3 is actually kind of an awkward deck. But we're not running into these issues when Cabanessa could just kind of pull it at instant speed. Should have been a 4MU card. I wonder if some point this was more expensive too, but this is a card that I've no doubt in testing had a lot of things change around it. But yeah, that's kind of the point here. We've played against this deck before on stream, if I'm not forgetting. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if we exactly played against Deer. We played against somebody else also playing it, but the deck is actually buck wild. Like the ability to search your deck and install something at instant speed when the run is successful, let alone save 3 credits, is so much value. And this is something that goes back to playing Netrunner for such a long time. Shaper matchups. Specifically when you're playing something with an alternate win condition. One of my favorite decks, and you can see videos, I think one of the oldest videos on this channel is me playing these sort of Titan transnational mid-season decks. So this is a deck that wanted to go as fast as possible and have a strong economy playing Wayland. And the idea is if the runner ever stepped out of line and stole an agenda while you had a credit advantage over them, you would give them a heck of a lot of tags. This used to be one of my favorite cards. And then we could use those tags to either kill the runner, classic, or we could actually fast advance because we were running psychographics back then because it worked really well with our deck. And so much of these sort of decks and these archetypes where you're playing an alternate win condition against Shaper back in the day, and this mind you was like about 6 or 7 years ago, was do they find their tech card? Back in the day, this deck entirely fell apart to Film Critic, and Film Critic was a popular enough card that showed up in every Shaper list and outside of Faction 2 for one influence that basically said when you stole an agenda, you didn't steal it. So none of the on-steal text mattered, which means not only did some of your spiky agendas and Argus security, all that sort of stuff not fire, but also you couldn't mid-seasons people because they didn't steal an agenda. So much of these games were like, did they find the mid-seasons and going fast enough to make them uncomfortable that it was hard for them to do everything, get through your ice, be able to keep a self-modifying code on the table to threaten clot, let alone threaten misdirection to clear all the tags and to find their film critic and keep their economy up. And that was kind of the narrow line here, was to play a deck that was fast enough to challenge all of these things at once. And now the idea with this World Tree is like these issues just maybe aren't issues anymore. The thing is like they can always pull their one of tech card. If they really need a film critic, mind you, not a legal card, they can get it on turn 1 in theory. Turn 2, realistically, probably not a best play. But that's this big thing that to me is like if Shaper decks are just a toolbox of economy and value staple to all the best win conditions and all best tech cards, World Tree is just an absurd enabler for that. Now we'll see if this is a problematic deck. I do think this deck has some weaknesses. It's highlighted up in this write-up. I think it's shouted out in the White Blade article too. There's ways around it. It's not the strongest thing, and it's mostly because it has a kind of weak early game. But once you get over that, this thing is just an absurd amount of value that's really hard for Anticorp to race out. And everybody remembers the first time they got mid-season. Yo, Jim, how's it going? Happy New Year. I don't know if I do. I wish I did. I remember getting Sea Scourge the first time very, very well. But mid-seasons is, oh man, I really like that. I ran 3x imp and sack CC to avoid it. Yeah, other people did that. And playing against Noise was really fun because of that imp. Hey, Diogene, I like World Tree. Compared to Endurance, I do not think it'll probably warp the meta as much. It definitely is not going to warp the meta as much because it's not widely playable the way Endurance is. Like Endurance does something every single deck wants to do, so I think you're totally right there. But I do think it's potentially an absurd ability. I see going forward, the ability to get anything from your deck at instant speed at 3-cost reduction, I don't know. If there's a good Shaper deck, I'm pretty sure World Tree was probably in it. Hey, winning on Monday, yeah. World Tree is like having Ob in a runner, but it's much better than Ob. Ob is more tricky. That's why I appreciate Ob a lot more. Ob is more about like tricks and doing something that's surprising. World Tree is just value, right? Like yeah, mechanically, yes, very similar, but the way it works out, it's much more restrictive. Jua is great against World Tree. Yeah, that's true. Jua is cool. And there's, again, a lot of tech cards you can slot into this. Trashing the World Tree is super important. This deck only runs one of. It does run 3 Simulchip, but like slowing down this engine, playing tags, hard-hitting news, these are all things that the deck can't interact with that well. World Tree is broken with Woo and just okay with other Shapers. H-Henchling. Yeah, I think that's what White Blade's calling out, is that it's absurdly powerful with Woo, who can consistently get it down and is not punished by playing 65 cards. Like, literally not punished, which is wild. I played mid-seasons once in draft. It was fun. I had Scorched Earth and Traffic Accident. That's a dream draft. You know, drafting net damage or meat damage in draft is like, a lot of people don't take it because they don't believe in it. And that kind of gives the one person who is drafting it kind of a nice pool. Well done. Cole on Monday, you bet. It's not only that Woo can get the tree, it's that Woo can also get fuel for it at will. Oh yeah, that's really true. That Wu can pull at instant speed. Like you can pull down your Harbinger and then use that with the World Tree. There's a lot of good reasons why Wu. Hey Jad, how's it going? Nice to see you stream for the other half of the world. How are your holidays so far? They've been really nice. It's been really nice just to hang out with family. We do holiday stuff with my partner's family earlier, and then for the Christmas, which we do, and Hanukkah as well, which overlap pretty well, we went to see my family. We had some car trouble. We got stuck there for longer than we thought. We thought we'd stream last week, but we didn't. Streaming my waking hours. Russell, how's it going? Happy New Year's. How's your New Year been? I also had Sensi's actor unit, commercial bankers, and friends in high places. Ooh, yuck, 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 yuck. Well done. Making Woo competitive is not actually a bad thing in my opinion. I don't know. This is the problem too. And like, this is a very weird thing to kind of address and not feel like a total get about it, is that I agree with the sentiment. I don't like Shaper. And specifically, I don't like Netrunner when Shaper is the best faction. I'm not saying Shaper is the best faction, but when Shaper is the best faction, it is largely a prison meta. It is largely forces you to go as fast as possible because Shaper is meant to have, classically has an inevitability where if you cannot win sooner than they can set up their like undaunting, just unending, unrelenting economy engine value over time stuff, you're not going to win the game. And that's what I don't like. I find like Shaper's win condition to be the most boring out of all three, which is just inevitability. Like we're unironically playing Cyberdelia, right? Like, are we not? This is where we are. We are playing Cyberdelia. Like, this is the opposite of Netrunner I want to be. This is like such slow. Like, how long does it take for Cyberdelia to be good for you? If you install it for 0, it's a bit better. That's true with World Tree. But like, I do not like it when Shaper is good. And I wish Shaper was different. And to some extent, we see that in Null Signal's design, like having Endurance being a run-based Shaper, having Padma be a run-based Shaper. I like that. But if Control, Sit Back, Shaper, and admittedly World Tree forces you to run, not that that's a really big cost, I don't like it. I don't like when Shaper is good. I'm not correct. I'm not right. But I know a lot of people feel this way. I do feel this way. I don't like when Shaper is good. It's weird. It's really weird. It's just because the way that they win is not a fun way to lose to. I'd rather lose to like something aggressive. I'd rather lose to criminal pressure, I think. I feel attacked. Yeah, I say it. People are gonna feel attacked by that. But like, I think you know to some extent, say it's 0. Like, you can't be fully surprised by that take. I hated 419 way more than Shaper. Also, World Tree is interaction based, making it a balanced card. I wouldn't say that. I think 419, like, I don't enjoy playing against 419. That's true. But I don't think 419, like, I think you can have criminal without 419 for sure. It's interaction based only slightly. Like, it forces them to run. It's just really impossible to stop that from being an issue. Like, World Tree is coming down turn 1, right? Turn 2. You can't stop the Shaper from running everywhere all the time. You can slow them down. You can. But yeah, I don't know. Prison on both sides, R plus and World Tree Woo. And the R plus matchup is like, that's the issue too, is like Drago is one of the good answers against this deck. This deck is running no tag tech. And while it could easily run like no free lunch, if you get a Drago on the table, which I think is called out as one of the win conditions, and you return the World Tree to hand, you kind of win the game. You kind of won. And I don't like Drago either, I'll be honest. I do not like Drago. But yeah, that's 3 pinhole threading is the best you got for that. Hey Thomas, people seem to hate when Jinteki or Shaper is the best faction, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that those were the 2 worst factions when the game was young. I don't think so. I don't think it has much to do with that. I think people don't like Jinteki when it's just random damage wins, like just putting enough damage that you win over time. I don't like that. I think when Jinteki plays Glacier, like what's it called, Replicating Perfection circa 2014, like that's a fun Jinteki. There's fun Pilana decks. There's fun Jinteki. For what it's worth, while what's it called, Mati is like busted powerful. It was a fun deck to play and fun deck to play against. I don't think people like trap decks, but that's its own problem. But people don't like the decks where it's just like, oh, I put in every card that says net damage on it, and then I'm going to ice up everything and click for credits. Like, yeah. Apocalypse is canonically the ideal deck confirmed. You see, it's like saying, yeah, it's to some extent like Apocalypse is you know, interaction based. It's like, yeah, okay. Architects of Tomorrow will really like any deck sporting World Tree. Yeah, but then they still have to win the game, which I don't think they can do. I really don't know they can do. I think Architects of Tomorrow is like a possibility for something to like close up everything and maybe have a good enough matchup against Criminal and stuff. But like Architects of Tomorrow is not exciting anyone. Bring that current for $10 on a called card. Yeah, Market Forces. Not Market Forces. Oh, wait, what's that called? Oh man, that card was fun. Doesn't win you the game though. The specter of Jinteki possibly being good sends all sorts of folks panicking and racing off to neuters. Shaper is getting to it level it's to, it seems. Yeah, it's wild. Like once they print like good Shaper cards, people get really upset. Myself included. So targeted marketing. Thank you. Hey Vash, how's it going? Dragon needs banning so oppressive like Endurance. Yeah, Dragon's the sort of card that if you don't have tech for it, you're gonna have a bad time. And it's not a fun bad time. Like there are fun bad times. Like you can lose to Netrunner in a fun way, and I don't know if Drago is it. Hey, skip on. Anywho, I wonder if Deer's going to play this this weekend, which we might see. But yeah, this is really powerful. Now, this is where we got here. And this is a World Tree Atom deck. And the big reason why you want to play Atom in World Tree or World Tree in Atom is Emergent Creativity allows you to get it consistently, just like Endurance. And could you play Endurance in this deck? Yeah, you probably should. But you can go find it. And then once it's on the table, you can sell your directives because your directives are resources. And then you can go sell your directive to get a daily cast. I don't want to do that. My directives, turns out your directives are actually really good. It's the reason why you're playing Atom. So I don't know how sold I am on that to be directiveless. Some of the directives are the best cards. Like people are splashing directives out of faction. But yeah, it's a thing you can do. It's really flashy and cool. Otherwise, I don't know if this is going to be a better Atom list than just running, the boat. The World Tree gives us access to what? It allows us to pull Earthrise Hotels. That's nice. The one liberated, that's nice. And then when it's on 4 credits, you can get rid of it. You have to run every turn regardless. And that's kind of the thing with World Tree. It's like, you don't want to sell all your directives. You probably don't, because if you want to run once a turn anyways, that works inherently really well with Atom, especially your directive that shows you the top of the deck. So find the truth. And then you have a Breaker Suite of MK Ultra, Paperclip, Angolo, and Mayfly. We are going to need a brain chip because we have a lot of MU. A week before this tournament, we definitely have all our decks sorted. Yep. Yeah, everyone ready, huh? Would Nanny Grid on all centrals be towards Triwu? Carrie, how's it going? Nana Civic? I doubt it. So Nana Civic Grid is like, on its own, this card requires a bit of tech. Like it requires a bit of a setup. It's a good card, but it only fires so often. What are you firing with it? If you're firing a trash program subroutine, yeah, that probably does something. Mind you, the deck runs 3 simul chips, but yeah, that's cool. And the runs is okay. I think the one deck in the meta that I haven't seen anyone play, and I think it's because it's secretly really good and it's being tested behind closed doors, is Nana Civic Ag Infusion. It just seems busted good because your ability fuels the Nana Civic and you kind of are in this really good loop. Again, that might be a slow deck, kind of like the Loki decks. We'll see. But yeah, quite powerful. But yeah, I don't think this is the easiest thing to do. Like Crisium Grid is probably just good enough, right? But then you need them on all central servers. Then you need face down cards. Then you need, it's yeah, I don't know. I like Marrow Atom at the moment with some of the fast decks put there just to get your hand size up. I haven't considered that. How much influence is Marrow? I don't know. Atom's console's good, and then otherwise Endurance is good. So you really have to go out of your way to think of something else. Signal Jamming is a card that helps against Tree. The problem is it does nothing against other decks. The problem is it's not only like, so there's a couple cards that would be good in the meta, right? Like there's all these like niche tech cards that suddenly get good. This card is like really bad. Cards cannot be installed until the end of the run. Uses ability only during a run on the server. So like, yeah, it's like imagining this card to be good, to be worth a slot is like really difficult to imagine. There's a bunch of weird niche bad tech cards like this that came out over the years that are either hyper specific and then even in their specificity are not worth a slot. Like even in a game where every deck in the meta is a World Tree deck, this is not worth a slot. Like preventing them one time from doing an install, right? Like that can't be good. Mumbai Grid is not going to actually work, right? Is it Navi Mumbai? Yeah, this is one of the sort of cards that for a while would be really good. This isn't in the meta anymore, but like during a run on the server, the runner cannot use paid abilities on non-icebreaker cards. This is actually would be a reasonable tech card into Endurance. And this card's actually good enough. And it does hit other parts of the meta like Boomerang, Botchless, all that stuff really works. This card would be played if it could be played. I do think Signal Jamming is a bit too weak. Is it for bin breakers? It hits bin breakers. Yeah, that's true. It does hit bin breakers. But then to find a run where not having the bin breaker for only exactly that run, so you'd have to have like a mean subroutine, that does work. It stops SMC, it stops Simulchip, it stops World Tree. Against Criminal, it stops nothing unless you're playing against Az largely. But even then, like I don't know if it's worth a slot. Jua was called out, and yeah, Jua's nice. Jua is cool. It helps against the World Tree. Again, it just stops one server from being World Treeable. Returning a World Tree to hand is good if they don't have 2 installed cards. But like, yeah, this is not bad. This is like an okay card. Hey Blake, Happy New Year to you as well. How's your holidays been? All right, let's try it. Let's just play an Atom deck. We'll see how consistently we're getting World Tree down. Let's just see what they say how to play it. Play advice. Unless you have a great starting hand, it's usually worth mulliganing aggressively for the merging creativity. Throw away a brain chip and a multi-threader or a bin breaker to get the tree out. Then use dirty laundry and jailbreak to get more value. Brain chip eats Thule Subsea alive. Yeah, you can start. Well, yes and no. Yeah, you don't care about the core damage, but the threat from Thule is not the core damage for me. At least it's the ontologicals. But yeah, it helps. Daily cast Earthlights, Liberate, and DreamNet are your main economy targets. Grab and throw away a safety first to neutralize all threats. This is the thing to me that like doesn't make a lot of sense. This card is really good. This card is really good. I don't know if trading this way is actually like something you want to do. Definitely not the other one. Neutralize all threats is like a slapper of a card. Admittedly, there are some matchups where you can't afford to trash things, where getting rid of this is actually good for you. Mostly against like controlling the message and acid-based things like that have hard-hitting news. But this is a really good card. Like people are considering flashing this out of faction. That like getting rid of your directives just to get stuff on the table, to me is a bit of a mixed bag, but we'll try it out anyways, just to see what it feels like. Got up early to go to work today, only for my girlfriend to tell me I didn't have work today, which was a surprise to me. Yeah, that happens when New Year's is not on a weekday, huh? I think the idea is to get rid of your worst directive to get the engine going is the point. Yeah, so we probably don't sell everything. It's just like, I don't know. Why play Adam? Your directives are good, right? Adam's happy little tree. Adam. I haven't played Netrunner in a couple weeks, so we'll see how this goes. Oh, cat has found the empty bed. All right. We do have 3 no free lunch. That's also one of the issues playing Adam in a modern meta is that there's a lot of things threatening your directives. So you have to have tag tech, that's for sure. Hey, Happy New Year. How's it going, Cody? Let's go. Put more copies in your deck. I think that's something like you could consider. It's just put more directives in your deck and then trash them in the early game and put them back. Now the question is how many of your directives are actually really good in the early game? Honestly, all of them. Like all of them are really good, right? Oh, we got a Smurf. Yeah, the directives are the best, right? Like if I want to sell my directives, I'll not play Adam. Okay, we're playing against Near Tub. 49 carats. I'm assuming we're getting gaslighted into hard-hitting news. Thanks, you too. I think this is the same Smurf we played maybe 2 weeks ago or our last stream. So we generally don't want to play always be running. It's probably not that hard to make a run every turn. I'm more worried about having neutralize all threats. While we have, hold on, that was a bad place to put that. While we have the multi-access built in, we're forced to trash cards with trash costs. And their deck is probably going to be about 50% cards with trash costs. And they're going to leverage an economic advantage or disadvantage. If we don't have a lot of credits, they're going to hard hitting news us. So I think this is actually one of the matchups where we'll play always be running and sell always be running to the world tree. So we'll take that. Find the trees, obviously. Their servers are not that well protective. And then we'll take safety first because it's good enough. So we're not going to take the one that forces us to trash. Oh, we have a misdirection. That's cute. Happy New Year, Mela. How's it going? My Smurf has become my main, such as the cycle of life. Yeah, you pick the one that has the best JNet stats. Hey, best. Oh, I already said that. Best of luck. Have fun. Excuse me. All right, opening hand, we have the creativity, we have the gamble, we have to run click 1, which is a bit difficult, so that's rough. We have an RNG key, which is nice, but unfortunately, again, we have to run click 1, so we can't get those down in the right order, but the sound's actually really good. Do we have a scrubber or anything to deal with assets on the long run? We don't have a scrubber, we have a Parisia. That's actually probably good enough. Smash's metagame needs to be getting the Smurf to reveal their identity. I'm pretty sure I know who this is. I just don't want to. If they picked a Smurf, they can pick a Smurf. But I'm like 95% confident I know who this is. All right, double ice. So what if we don't run and we have to run first click? It's going to be a problem for us. Not sure. Gaslight's pretty bad, so we have to be prepared for hardening news as soon as turn 1. They kept. We kept. Hit R&D. Andre, what? Our ABR? Do we infect the Montreal meta? No, we just can't play the other one. We're going to sell it. Don't worry. It's the first one we'll sell. Top cover R&D is an Enigma. Okay, so low range, low to mid range, so might be going a bit faster. It's good to have nice end the runs. So do you want to get creativity now? The problem is we can't really afford to do it. If we throw out our brain chip, we're going to be spending 6 credits to get down our thing, which will put us on 3, which means we lose on the spot to hard hitting news. So I think we have to play a bit slower here. I don't want to show that we have a misdirection. If we install it though, we get a card draw. Yeah, whatever. They probably best defense this. I think best defense is actually in vogue. Directives are really good. Can we sell? Well, there's one matchup. Oh, there you go. You see? Well, oh, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yep. We died. All right, so there's a Drago on the table. They had to end the line in the hand, advance, go down to less 3 cards, which we have to do. We lose the spot. So there was no way for us to win that game with safety first. Unless we ran the Drago. Cool. Cool. This is what Op is doing consistently too, from my understanding. Yeah, 3 cards in hand is something that I think you're going to have to start respecting. And with this hand size problem, like maybe at some point we stop playing safety first, right? Maybe we have to play the other one. But yeah, no, that's not good. Fun and interactive game? Yeah, right? Did you not get down your no free lunch? Uh-oh. I guess you lose. Yeah, 3 hand size, hey? We're taking on some risk there. Runner, let's go. Directives are really good. Yeah, our directives are great. We got to see that Enigma there. I think you have to check the remotes now against the possibility of Drago and Gaslight. Yeah, it's really hard, right? Like if we hit the Gaslight, we have to trash it, which I think is the right thing to do anyways. If we see a Drago, that's like not something I expect on the table. Like what I'm expecting more likely is the AR enhanced security. And I think for that reason, we would check it. Yeah, I think we check AR enhanced security anyways. Yeah, so you're right. We probably do check. I don't think there's anything that punches us. Like maybe they're playing Prisec. It's kind of rare. All right, we're playing our standards here. All right, sports metal could be brain damage sports metal, I think, or core damage, excuse me. More people are playing just like, sure. Oh, sure. I believe you. Best of luck, have fun. I think people are realizing, I'm seeing more of it, that people are playing the Thule decks and just putting in sports metal and realizing it works a bit better. Yeah, just have no free lunch. That's what I don't love about the meta. It's like so much of it is just have no free lunch. This hand is like, we have daily casts. Now we don't have a tree. I'm going to mulligan for emergent creativity or a tree just on the basis that that's kind of what we said. Parisha can do some work. We're expecting them to have either Jupe's Dead Grid, but more likely Tranquility, which this doesn't interact with. So we'll mulligan that. Yeah, that's good. Dreamnet's good. We're not digital, are we? No. But definitely you made the wrong decision on turn 1, therefore you die is not good. It's not good, and I think a lot of people are going to die on turn 1. Okay, so here we want to get our credits up, so we can hit this. We can put the Dreamnet down. We won't get a credit back, we'll get a card. We're accessing on 6, and we have to access 2 cards, which is a bit dodgy. I don't know if this is on the table. Oh, might as well see the top first. Top of R&D is a virus. Interesting. There's a next. We're forced to trash that. Whoops. And a Fairchild 3. Okay, maybe installing this was a mistake. We can install 1 card. I was hoping to get them the daily cast, but we're just going to install a Logic Bomb because our hand size is 3, and then we'll die to Scorched Earth. Spin Doctor for start, red level clearance. So they're going to draw 2, and she's going to gain 2 credits. So Spin Doctor on the table, like we generally want to punish that. It lowers the quality of our seeing the top of R&D if they can shovel. If we run this first click, we go down to 0 credits, which is like a really bad look. So it's hard for us to challenge this. I think we just run archives and hope there's an agenda there and they shuffle. There's a chance they don't shuffle though, right? But like, I don't know. I think we have to take a turn off here. This also turns off our ability for neutralize, because if we access a card with a trash cost, but there, okay, we got it. All right, next goes back and an unseen, probably an agenda. Find the truth. Top of the deck is now a biotic labor. So some fast events, and she has fast events credits. Here we probably want to do credit. I'm going to install the daily cast and run HQ. We didn't access anything with a trash cost. So if we run HQ and hit like, I don't know what we'd expect to hit here. So maybe we want to access with at least 3 credits, because we could trash Spin Doctor, Rashida. We don't have money to be forced to trash next. We'll run HQ here. Seeing 2, running last click is also kind of dodgy against Sports Metal because they can draw up and safely. Audacity, Fairchild. So we know Audacity, Fairchild, Biotic. David, how's it going? They're drawing up. I don't know if they have agendas. They have everything in their hand. And that's probably a Fairchild. We can run that first click. Or last click with Logic Bomb. All right. So we know Audacity, Biotic in hand. Maybe a Fairchild on the table. And I'm a virus as well. Yeah, she drew them a virus. So here, I think we just run HQ C2 to the top of R&D. And with the Logic Bombs, we can threaten the top of R&D if we see like a good 2-pointer. Mega Pre on the top of the deck. Not a good 2-pointer. Audacity, Audacity. So we know Audacity, Audacity, Biotic. DJ Fenris is probably worth playing that turn, honestly, in like immediate hindsight. We don't have... we don't have a way to get our hand size up. I would love an RNG key. With 14 credits, to fast events out, functionally, she needs 7. So if she reses a Fairchild, she's still in a good spot. It's coming. It's coming. If we run that, she draws. I want her to score out the first Mega Pre, because the first Mega Pre is like pretty ugly. Now, if we DJ Fenris, we get back a single Sure Gamble, so it's not even that great. I think we just install this click for a credit. Maybe we draw once because we can discard the paperclip. So order here is pretty bad. But we're not getting our draw. We can't really afford the World Tree here. Would we World Tree this table? Yeah, we would World Tree. Oh, Rashida, very good for her. We would get rid of the daily cast once it's lower. But like all our directives here are so good. Like they're really, really good. 3 multi-axis. This one's the worst one, but eventually we get our hands a size up. So that could be a Mega Pre. No idea. No idea. Finally catching stream. What's the reason streaming at Euro hours? We missed the stream last Thursday and we're on holiday, so why not, right? How's it going, by the way? Upgrade on archives. What do you think that is? Nanda Civic? Chrysium? What's on archives? What's on archives? What? So one of these might be the Mega Pre. We can start with running HQ because we get a card draw. Mavirus? Yeah, done. She might be right. It might just be the Mavirus. That would make the most sense of what we've seen. Find the tree, top of R&D is an on sell. So bigger ice, seamless launch. Okay. Is this just Sokka's list? Because you don't expect double seamless launch. This might just be Sokka's list. So we have to check the table. But we want to do that last click. So again, we don't really have a good reason to get this down. We could get this down. I think we do run server 3, run server 2. Still. So one of these is the Mega Pre. So I think we run server 3 to check what it is. And then we can run server 2. It's a Spin Doctor, okay. So we can't trash it. Let's see if she uses it. No, she doesn't. That makes sense. She didn't actually have to res that. And then we'll run this, which is probably the Mega Pre. If we return to HQ, we only see we still see 2 cards. I think I'd rather run HQ than run the Mega Pre, but this might not be the Mega Pre. But she doesn't seem to have a lot of choices in agendas, so I'll just pressure HQ after she drew. Oh yeah, we knew that she has an on sell. Wait, this is actually kind of a bad run because we know it's on sell, biotic, 1 face down card, Audacity. That might be discarded Audacity. And then, yeah, this is not a great run. Yeah, probably shouldn't have done that. Wacko Counter-Strike memes? Yeah, I guess so. How's it going? So if she scores the Mega Pre in server 2, we're pretty okay with that, I think. If it's any other agenda, though, it's obviously a fair bit worse. Yeah, that's fine. That's the only 3-1 in the deck that she'd consider scoring anything. She drew 2. I don't know if she has agendas. She has an on-sell for HQ, though, but the on-sell it's annoying. Yeah, that run was not good. I just don't think we wanted to run server 2. Biotic. Whoa. Whoa, Tempo Biotic. What do you got? Okay. That we have no idea what that is. That's probably the unsell. Now the issue is the way that we're going to deal with ice. It's a Fairchild 3, so we might as well logic bomb it last click. So what are we doing? The card that's amazing every time and only when you don't have it. I love Embezzle, and I think Embezzle is actually really good in the modern meta, considering the way HB and NBN plays. Yo, all about the value. Okay, so we think it's an on-sell. If she res the on-sell, we have to click through 2 with the subroutines. I don't think we care about the steel one because I don't think she has an agenda in there. We can start there. The problem is if we logic bomb here, it's really bad because we lose our turn and we want to logic bomb server 2. Yeah, that's the unsell. So trash one installed runner card. Can't have that. Install a card from HQ archives, can't have that. But cannot steal or trash, we don't care. So we can have 1 click left to check server 2. And then she actually can't res this if it's a Fairchild 3. We still get a successful run trigger. So we can see the top of R&D so we can figure out which way to run. But server 2 might be an agenda. She'd have to draw it, I think, on the Spin Doctor. Uh-oh. All hand size. Food. Okay, Audacity. Luminal. No! Can't steal that. She has an Audacity. So with the Audacity, we'd kind of want to throw in the Spin Doctor. Interesting. So she has the best 3-2 in her whole deck. If we Dirty Laundry and Logic Bomb on sell, that's probably actually better. Again, we know Biotic Luminal, Audacity. So we have a 40% chance of hitting it. We have no way to increase those odds. We're going to discard a lot of cards. The other option is the Dirty Laundry Server 2, or the top of R&D is the Global Food Initiative. Now, the cool thing is if she Audacity's out, the Spin Doctor, and I think she has to, we're in an okay spot. Unless Server 2 is a Rashida, then she'll have the money. She probably want Audacity there. I think we just Dirty Laundry HQ and hope. I don't know what this is. It can't be better than the 40% Illuminal. So we'll bypass that. Hey, Janktis, how's it going? You playing this weekend, huh? I'm excited. How you doing? Nailed it. Happy New Year to you as well. Yo, I want to talk about Arkham. I want to talk about Scarlet Keys. I finished Scarlet Keys. Took some risks there. Nice World Tree deck you got there? Yo, Vash, for real? How? Like, how do we want a World Tree? Like, what are we World Treeing here? Like, do we throw out an Ngolo? No. Wanted to tell you that we beat Carcosa. Yo, how'd it go? How was Min? Carcosa is a sick, absolutely fantastic campaign. All right, so she has a food in her hand. Now she has 6 credits because of Tranquility. Unknown Server 4. Just joking? No, Vash. I don't mind. It's worth calling it out. We're going to get 2 more cards. We're going to get 2 credits. Daily Cast, Earthrise. Okay, Prisha does not help against the Tranquility. It does help with the Spin Doctor, and maybe this is either a 3-1 or like a Nico, or probably more likely a Maryland. So if we get a run, we can see stuff. We think this is a Fairchild 3, which like we want to run that last click. We can't really Dirty Laundry this. In theory, could be a Spin Doctor, but we want to throw in the Spin Doctor what we have in hand. What's it called? While they have in hand, she has an Audacity. Now running the Spin Doctor, like we could think like we can play the Prisha, but she's gonna crack it. So I don't think we have to play the Prisha. So we want to plan our turn. We like crack this. We have no good way to deal with on cell. We have our only breaker. Like we're not playing Vote. Our only breaker is MK Ultra. Like we don't want to Ngolo this. So I think we just run this, see the top of R&D. We'll probably won't get a successful run. So then we can run this after. That paid off, but I think DL and R&D is better since they could force a spin and then she can't get back something from Audacity, but the luck worked. Yeah, the thing is like she would probably shuffle there. I think 40% on Illuminal might be worth it. Rashid and Biotic, so 2 face downs as well. All right, so I think we're just going to Dirty Laundry Server 4 and hope it's not another spin. Man was awesome. Hillary was playing Mark and discovered Stick to the Plan right before the last scenario. That card is sick. Mark just basically killed everything. It's so hard to play Guardian and not play Stick to the Plan considering how strong it is. It's a next on the top. That stops our Logic Bomb. It's a Rashida. We are forced to trash. Okay, so we know Rashida here. We can always jailbreak. This could be the what's it called? The 5-3, the Global Food, but it seems unlikely. Our hand size is still an issue. If we jailbreak, we're going to have too few cards. Maybe at this point we should only install the Prisha because we're going to have to install stuff. But I think we probably just discard it. We could DJ Fenris and then jailbreak HQ. DJ Fenris gives us back 2 Dirty Laundries. That's pretty good. Thinking, I honestly don't know what to do here. Like, I just feel like we're struggling. We are struggling to get enough value accesses. I think we have to fight the food. Probably last click we can just go here. So we can just do Prisha run here and discard, I don't know. Like, we can't creativity this. Do you EC for tree? It's going to be our whole turn and we get no value. Like, that's an 8 credit play. We go down to 2 credits and what are we selling? Like, we don't have good sales. Like, this is the problem with the World Tree deck is all our directives are so good. Like, these are all the cards that will win the match. But like 8 credits, we have to discard something. We can't discard the Ngolo. Not that we probably installed the Ngolo. But like, if we can merge in creativity for a boat, we would do it. I think last click we run server 2. I'm just going to install the Prisha and run server 2. Ugly. Nah, might as well just install that. We'll definitely become Steve. Reyna, Quetzal, Sable is kind of cute. Los for value. I don't think we can run through Ansel really easily. I'm going to do Los for value. I think the line is to DJ for Steve, jailbreak, get back 2 Dirty Laundries. It's definitely a good line. It's probably what we want to do anyways. I'm doing Los because I don't think we can run HQ that efficiently through the on-sell for the rest of the game. So I'm assuming we won't get DJ value. We can always click through this and we have good pressure. But yeah, I don't know. Los is obviously not the best choice. We'll Logic Bomb that. World Tree is about letting go value for more other value. There is no card in the game that does what these cards do. Please, food. Yeah, okay, it was in there. Glad we didn't go HQ. Then next you can Steve for 2 Logic Bombs. Steve for 2 Logic Bombs is good. Oh, we discard a card. I'm getting rid of the Prisha. We haven't really seen like they're on Nico or Maryland, so that only hits like Spin Doctors and Rashidas. This will help us afford our World Tree, and then we'll sell it. Like, that's the cool thing about DJing into non-Steve. You don't mind selling it to the World Tree, right? Gotta trash that. Oh, they were on 1 credit? Yeah, we should have trashed that for sure. We definitely should have trashed that. I did not consider it. There were 3 credits? Yeah, we should have trashed that 100%. Yeah, that's actually a pretty sizable mistake. So they have a next in hand. We have a Liberated and a Logic Bomb. Those are 2 good draws. So I think we just can't be. Yeah, we should have trashed that 100%. So much of the economy in Sports Metal is this card. If we did that, we could still install this. Yeah, we probably should have. I'm going to run archives just to see the top of R&D. Find the truth. Oh, we're drawing cards. Hate it. Next. So they have 2 next. Unres upgrade is a virus. We might as well trash that. We have to, I think. I think you can pretty easily lose safety first. How often do you blow 3 cards? Yeah, it's probably the easiest one to get rid of, but we're hoping to draw our one of, like, it might be right to merge in creativity for our console. Like, that might be better than World Tree. It's just to get our hand size up. Fires twice. That's really funny. Like, no joke. It just might be straight up better to merge in creativity for our console. I don't want to show that we are on Logic Bomb. Oh, they know everything we draw. What am I talking about? They see everything we draw. Have to discard a card here, like, probably. Isn't that weird? Probably. I don't see us ever installing this. How do we afford to use this card? I hope we don't need breakers. I'm not sure if Los is really the right choice because of the slow non-payout. It's not a great choice. It's definitely not. All right, next is on the table. So this is a huge strength. We can't click through things. This says cannot use non-icebreaker cards to break subroutines. Oh, we don't care with Logic Bomb. We don't break subroutines. That's fine. If you're going to ditch Ngolo, then ECing it was probably better. Almost definitely. Yes. If we're going to ditch it, we definitely should have got something else out. 100%. That was not correct. We'll run archives. So that might be a Manic Arm? I do think this is Sokka's list. Top card is Off-World Office. Okay, we don't have a Mad Dash. Yeah, I think so. Hey, Alan, how's it going? Happy New Year's to you as well. So we know that there's potentially game point on the top of the deck. Got Brain Chip out? We haven't. We can use this to get Brain Chip out, but I think we want to just jailbreak through here. They have 8 credits. She needs probably, I think we know she has a Seamless unless she threw it out. No, she hasn't. So she has another Seamless. So if we run R&D, we probably want to do a last click. So I think we can do daily casts. We're going to draw with Jailbreak. It replaces itself. Something like this. Will we jailbreak R&D? I feel like it's only giving us 1 additional access. Well, obviously, because we know the top card. I don't think we need to do that. So I'm just going to go for a single. And then we can always like panic jailbreak to win maybe next turn. All right, Magnet. We're going to bypass. Again, this doesn't break subroutines. We'll take the Off-World Office. She can draw 2 gain 2. Now, how do we break a Magnet? We literally cannot break a Magnet. I don't think our deck has a way to break Magnet anymore. Wait, did we actually like absolutely mess it up? Oh, Mayfly. No, we're fine. We just need to find a Mayfly. Seamless launch. Advance. To Vitruvius with the counter. Pretty good. All right. If we just see the top of the deck, we need to draw a Mayfly, and we can always emerge in creativity for a Mayfly, so we could win right here. Next. Wow. So all 3 are there. There's a Mayfly. Okay. So I think we just set up. I don't know if we want to show that we have a Mayfly. She knows. Sometimes I don't pay attention. Maybe it's obvious here. So I think we're just going to put everything on the table. There we get a free card draw. Sick. MK Ultra breaks this for a lot, for 6 credits, and we still let one of them fire. She drew, so she has an Audacity. Is scary. She's getting closer there. Tranquility gain 2. So that's biotic money. But now at some point, we're just hoping to see the top of the deck. If we get a second Mayfly, looks like an agenda. But we always run archives first click. Fairchild 3. Oh, that's good. We have to watch out for Spin Doctors. Now, Thinking. With a single seamless launch, she can threaten out the game if she has the last food there, right? Wow. You guessing or demanding? Ah. So, yeah, that's food. And we've seen 2 seamless so far. So she would need the last seamless in hand. She could do seamless, advance, Vitruvius for counter seamless. So we can lose to a food right here on the spot. Well, that's not food. I lose, actually. We get to 6 points. I'm rolling to disbelief. So here, I think we can just continue camping the top of R&D. We're assuming that there's more Vitruviuses in the list. The Mega Priest will get us there. So there also might be Hyperloop extensions. So there's probably a bunch of 1-pointers there. If this is Sokka's list too, I think it's only on like 11 agendas, not like 14. So could we run this? It's kind of expensive. We want to find another Mayfly to be sure. I think we can afford all of this. Maybe we'll draw a World Tree or something. Who knows? This is Rashida. Okay, so she has good draw here. So she has every single next. I think that's all we know. I think she has 2 Audacities in hand. Every single next besides the one in the bin. Maybe a Biotic, but it doesn't really matter. She has access to Vitruvius Biotic, so she could just fast advance out here and put herself on game point if she wanted to. Assuming she found a 3-2 or the 3-1, which is a 3-2 for her. Ice on R&D and next, that's fine. Like, we still get through this. It'll be expensive, but like if we have enough money. Oh, there it is, just in time. We can sell this daily cast to get nothing of value. I don't think there's anything we can get that actually helps. She drew a lot too, so I do think jailbreaking HQ is probably our next best play. Vitruvius on top of the deck. Okay, cool. Could be a Spin Doctor. Just in time for you to EC it away for second Mayfly. Exactly, like that's the play. Cool enough though, like Mayfly does work well with World Tree. It works really well with World Tree. Does this deck have border control? Does it have border control? I don't think we need to find out. I think we just run on 18. Like if this is 7 strength, it's 6, 7, 8, 9, and this is 4. Yeah, we'll be fine. Might as well jailbreak because if they shuffle with Spin Doctor, it gives us the best odds. But I'm keeping a click left here for border control if there is border control. It's a Fairchild. I think we have enough money for this. Again, low credits, worth it. We actually don't have to break all these subroutines. It saves us a credit to trash the daily cast, which are worth more than a credit, so we're not going to do that. Yeah, we'll break all of it. Let's see if it's a Spin Doctor. Yeah, Lowe's gave us 6 credits. It's not the worst. Good game. I think this might be Sokka's list. I'm not sure. Oh, Rezal, sick. Oh, it's another Mavirus. Is this the world's list? Ooh, they had GFI in the remote. Nice. I'm not sure if that list is on Biotic. What is the list on? So the influence spend, we have 2 Mavirus. Global Food Initiative is some. I'm assuming it has to be on Biotic, right? Oh, Audacity is a lot of influence. Never mind. The question is for what cost did Los get? Los was actually good, right? Like, we have no barriers, so we can't really use, Quetzal. We didn't get value from Smoke. We didn't really want a Cabanessa. Cabanessa's not the worst with Mayflies. But Los gave us 6 credits, so we didn't run HQ anymore. And rightfully so. Like, we were seeing the top of R&D, so we knew what she was drawing into. And running through the unsell just to return a Dirty Laundry, I do not think is tempo positive. The Los honestly wasn't bad. This doesn't shuffle. This only brings a card. Audacity, sorry, Atlas counter shuffle. This one just returns a card from Archives to HQ, so there's no shuffle on this one. Super cool. Yeah, I don't think the Los was the worst call in this board state. It's pretty surprising. It was only a 3 credit play, but I know this deck does run a fair bit of ice. Well, more than you'd expect. It's not good. It's probably wasn't worth playing, but it wasn't the worst. I do think that Steve might have only been better if it forced her to like a double ice HQ, which would have been okay for us. But like she did not draw ice or agendas. I think she scored out every agenda she drew like very quickly. So yeah, that's weird. Like that's what I thought when I saw this deck. Is like it's a cool interaction, but there's almost no board state imaginable where I want to sell my directives. Like the directives are really good. They how you win the game. They're very unique, powerful effect. Interesting. All right, I want to try this one though, because an ob deck and plays Gaslight, and I want to show you how disgusting Gaslight is, because Gaslight is really gross. You're also going to get those like, oh, did you have 3 cards in hand on turn 1? You will lose. And this deck has, just like the NEH one, has a lot of ways to get there with the power of Gaslight and card draw. You're exactly like me. I'm not playing Triadam. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, there's a difference between having the most powerful deck and the most fun deck. And I do think like Endurance for 5 influence is probably better than the World Tree in that slot. Because that's just a better effect you're running every turn generally. But I can run stuff like Jackpot instead. Oh man, I think in startup now people are playing the that vein that gives you credits, and it's like probably good enough. Okay, we have a lot of really cool lines here. New cards. Firstly, our agenda suite is different. This is actually more of a kill deck. A lot of the ZF decks were actually trying to score out by playing multiple ZF protocols, as many 3/2s as they largely could, and then scoring out on a remote server. And the ZF protocol actually really works well with Urban Renewal. I think there is a reason if you're running multiple ZFs to play double Audacity, just to be able to, if they allow Urban Renewal to fire, to be able to flatline them. And I like that a lot. We're only on a single Maryland. Our slots have gone to Drago for 4 influence and triple Gaslight. So the idea is that if we trash a 1-coster at start of turn, which would be like selling a launch campaign either with Sfia Tekor or by letting it finish, we can go get a Drago, which if they ever end their turn, unless the card's in hand, then 4, we can go ahead and fast advance this, or double advance this, excuse me, and then end the game with, what's it called? Is it a 1 of? End of the line, yeah. So largely with this card, we need to pull it with a Gaslight. But that's another thing too, is like they have to trash the Gaslight. Like no matter what, there's going to be a credit swing on this, because if they don't trash it, you can go get an Economic Warfare. So it's a 4 credit, loss if they don't trash it, or more scarily, the hard hitting news, which is wild. This deck is pretty fun. I'm surprised how much I love Ob acid decks. They're just really fun and they feel really powerful. And as an acid deck with Ob's ability, it gives you like decisions to make. And I really like that. And it can set up like fun board states. I'm really interested to try an Ob deck that's more about like hostile architecture and the Reaper function that can actually do like surprise damage, barring interaction, but this is a good place to start, I reckon. Feel weird watching Netrunner and playing Marvel Snap on my other screen. Blake, what deck are you playing? I actually got up to Platinum for the first time. I'm like level 53. I'm playing a Sarah deck. Just like Sarah Miracle last turn, play all your mojos and stuff, and I'm having a good time, but like I'm just always missing a couple cards to play some of the bigger decks. Like I have Wave locked, but I need to get Wave. I'm waiting on, I'm really waiting on, what's her face, on Mystique. I think that'll open up a lot of options for me. There's a couple cards. I want Electro, obviously. I don't have Leader. I don't have Arrow. I don't have Magneto. I want Doc Ock. There's so many cards. I got Sarah yesterday. I'm loving Sarah Surfer. I should play Sarah Surfer. I don't have a good Sarah Surfer list, but I have Silver Surfer and I know it. Silver Surfer is busted. Silver Surfer is one of the best cards in the game. What is this called? Leech Roads. Absolutely fabulous. Playing area control deck with Viper, Debris, and stuff like that. Oh, Debris is another card I want to play with. Viper's actually like surprisingly cool. And Polaris, like kind of underappreciated, I think. But apparently I'm not a good Marvel Snap player. Like I'm okay, but I don't see how you get to like level 80. Where I think the good players hang out. Court. Was able to reach 60 again after giving up on Moon Girl Death combo. Moon Girl. Oh, Moon Girl, like Devil Dino's Moon Girl. I think Devil Dino's good too. I enjoyed Snap for about a week. I uninstalled it. Ah, David, I found a lot of fun. My partner's in it. No, it's all good. My partner's been enjoying it too. She's really gotten into it. Game's fun. Game is quite fun. Hey, Brandon, the Grid is back. Welcome. Yeah. Happy New Year. Thanks, you too. All right. Zaya. 41 cards. Might be a Tag Me archetype. If that's a Tag Me archetype, it's a bit difficult for us because we have no meat damage scales really well, and we're not running alternate tag punishment. Ice like Veritas is actually kind of bad for us because it allows her to farm tags, which we don't want to do. This hand, like the best thing in it is Drudge Work, but a big thing about this deck is you need to get board control as soon as possible. It's just so you can start snowballing. And I feel like this deck might be a bit worse at it, but we're going to mulligan that for sure. We want to get more things on the table. Yeah, that seems better. And we have a border control for HQ to stop even a Hopper suit, if not so much, what's it called? Diversion of funds. Hey, Symmetrix, Happy New Year to you as well. Is the pricing model like Hearthstone? No, the pricing model in some ways is like a lot better, in some ways absurdly worse, because it's not about boosters. You just unlock cards by playing. You can't buy them with credits or with like real world money. The real world money in the game is only for aesthetics, for skins, which sometimes can allow you to unlock cards sooner, but they have no gameplay ramifications. The problem with this game is the bundles are absurdly priced. Like there's a bundle that came out that's $70 for 2 cosmetics. Like it makes no sense. Like what? Who's buying $70 for 2 cosmetics? I don't understand the model, but it's like that. If they were like $10, I'd be like, okay, here you go. But yeah, it has a battle pass that costs like $15 a month if you want it. But again, the battle pass has unique cards in it, but you can get them later. I think we open with it's Saya, right? So pressuring 2 essentials. Sneak Door will show up eventually. I'm gonna start with this. Best defense on Obelisk and then killed. Oh wait, do we have best defense cat in this deck? I think this is good enough. This is Tag Me Zaya? Yeah, that's what I was edging on. Good to know. Did I hallucinate? I don't know. I didn't check. Like I honestly, I don't know. I was hoping you knew. We have 2 best defense. Okay, 6. Okay, best defense is a card that allows us to trash an installed card with cost equal up to the amount of tags they have. So that's a really good card for this matchup. So that was seen coming. My 7-year-old Xavier wants to know what your favorite faction is right now. Hey, Xavier. Hey, Jam. How's it going? Uh-oh. My favorite faction right now? It's a good question. Probably Criminal. Criminal's fun. On the Corp side, Wayland. Or specifically Op. Op is my favorite faction. Xavier, what's your favorite faction? Finally managed to clear Ascension 20 on all characters in Slay Spire. So stoked. Yo, that's well done. I have not touched Ascension in Slay. I just didn't care about it. I thought it was like real hardcore nerd stuff, but yeah, kind of looks fun. Paperclip on the table. All right, our border control doesn't do so much. What about an Afshar is a really good draw, and I don't think she knows we have this because she stole to send a message, but she is a third of the way there. A single. I don't think they're on Mad Dash, considering they want to win off another way. But this is an issue. This is where we don't have board presence. Like we wanted to install 2 assets on turn 1. Yikes. Awful. This is bad. This is really bad. It's stuck around A7. Can't even beat it once with the robot SDS. Oh, Ascension 7 is too hard for me. I'm not resing that. They can't steal SDSs, so like half the agendas in our deck are safe. Gaslight down. That's okay. Men's Jinteki, and thank you. Of course. Oh, Jinteki's fun. All right, we gotta get stuff on the table. Again, we're assuming Boomerang. 1 Obelisk is down, 1 Paperclip is down. So like resing the Sandstone is not amazing. Again, I just want to get 2 things on the table. Shuffling this back is okay, and it's not so much because we want to shuffle this back, but because once this is finished, we go get a 1 cost from our deck, which, you know, has some teeth. All right, so I think we'd install that, we res that, we hit that, so we have 1 more click. I think we can just have this in a remote server. It's not great. We can ice up archives. I am worried about Sneak Door at some point, but if we do this, we can control it. But this is more so, it gives us 3 credits. It shows them there is send a message in the deck. No surprise. But it's more so to get stuff on the table. Do we draw next click? That's obviously the terrible ordering because we shuffled the agenda back just to draw it, potentially. So don't do that. So I'm just going to put this on the table. She might check that. And we can ice up archives. This thing is awkward. The deck generally, I'm surprised it's running Paperclip. Some of them didn't. Rogue trading. Okay, I gotta trash that. Gonna trash that. Gonna draw up. Gonna have 6 cards in hand, but a Spin Doctor on the table, so we're okay spending at least 1 click trashing that. Shuffle a -1. No, thank you though. All right, she has 1 tag. Okay, mandatory draw. We'll definitely trash that. You can't have that. So this is something that she has to interact with. We'll get this down on the table. Apparently that's her whole turn. So we're just going to read some stuff. Again, she needs to get her credits up. Rogue trading is an immense amount of economy for this deck. She has gone tag me now. An urban renewal, she might need to take that down. And no matter what, she'll probably end up losing credits here. And as soon as she goes 2 tags, yeah, she needs to keep 7 cards in hand. She did take that down. This is Svigator, which is low-key the most important one, but it's expensive. Can we, if we res this, she's already made a successful run. This prevents her from gaining a credit. I'm going to res it. We always have the Svigator into Drudge Work combo. But she knows this is here. I feel like there's some way we have to play around Slipstream, but I don't know what it is. She only has a single tag there. If she ran into a Veritas, she actually would have lost the game. Might as well res this. Do we trash a card? I think we might want to trash this to go get a one coster. I don't think the one cost slot in this is very good. I think it's only launch campaigns, which she probably needs to trash. I feel like we don't need this right now. We just need to do something. So we have launch campaigns, urban renewal. Oh, that's good. That will actually distract her. And she has a single tag. So if an urban renewal sticks, we might set up an end of line. Launch campaign is economy. It won't tick this turn. Wall to wall is economy. We'll do an urban. Mandatory. Best defense. She has a single tag. When she has 4 tags, if we trash, this is the second obelisk, and then she's in a really bad spot. So we just have to survive for a second. We could ice that up just for like defense. We're probably not going to res this ever. As soon as we ice this up though, like we're weak to slipstream. At least with the border controls res, we actually can't be weak to slipstream. I think pre-resing the border control is like the slipstream tech. Another way to play around CS is to give them so many tags they can't afford it. Yeah, at some point. If their economy doesn't scale well, it gets there. Andre and not getting flatlined? What do you mean? I have 300 plus hours in SDS. Absolutely love that game. I have a lot of hours, but it's over different like on phone and on Switch and then on Steam. Just HHN to give her the tags? Oh yeah, that's a true point. I think we could consider doing that. I feel like our economy might not keep up, but yeah, I think Changeling, we're going to do that next. We probably could have considered it. What was y'all's most played game on Steam this year? Mine was Horseshoes, Hot Dogs, and Hand Grenades, which I was not surprised by. Svi? I don't think we're going to do a Svi here. Mouseless is good. SDS has been a perfect game to play while parenting, like easy to leave behind. It is. I'm not a parent, but like, that's a real big deal to have a game like that. All right, one tag. Do we trash the class act? I think we might actually consider it. Cycle Frontier. I like looter shooters. I don't know what that one is. Okay, so we can consider she didn't run, so we can't do these two. We can consider trashing the class act. She's throwing out Hot Pursuits, which is the most powerful card in the deck to some extent. Tempo damage also might matter. If we hit the counter surveillances, we're in a good spot. I think we consider trashing this. Also, this is fine. We definitely don't need the Drago. I wouldn't say definitely, but probably don't need the Drago. Actually, Drago, if it sticks on the table, we can do it. We have to advance it once. But if Drago does stick, we can give her 2 tags before she's ready. That actually might be fine. Also, this might be something she runs to check. Tabletop Simulator for Unmentionable Arkham Horror mod. I was 70% on Horseshoes, Hot Dogs, and Hand Grenades, 16% on Tabletop Simulator. It was very, very close between TTS and H3VR. Boomerang, where are we going? Going R&D? Love it. Bravado, love it. So if we border control here, she still gets 3 credits. No, this is fine. Darkest Dungeon were my top 2. Did you play Darkest Dungeon 2? I don't know if you're into the Epic Game Store thing. Same here, Tabletop Sim. I wish I could get stats on how much I've played the different mods. Oh, it doesn't give you that, does it? Mine's like probably 80%. What's it called? I should be checking this. 80% Arkham and then like 20% other stuff. I can't stand Epic, so no. Okay, that's a lot of people's thought on that. They're clearing the tag. Love it. All right. Well, hey, clear this tag. So if we top deck, no, there's no top deck. We'd have to top deck, but like AZF and somehow Audacity. That's why I love this line. So this could become, hold on, hold the phone. So we could spin Doctor back in the Drago, get the Urban Renewal, and then go get the Drago. If we had the one of end the line in hand, this would be a lethal play. I think I'm going to do this. Yeah, there's a Darkest Dungeon too. If you have end the line, yep, yeah. I'm thinking of trying it. So we'd have to trash this. We have to put back in the Drago, and I think we'll put back in, I don't know, Urban's like the one thing on the table that she has to deal with. She can't ignore. And now we're going to do the Urban, which will install 0 cost. We'll get the Drago on the table. We hit, what do we hit? Bagalter, Diversion of Funds, Mutual Diversion. So there's no more, no, there's one more diversion, right? Yeah, there's one more diversion. Okay, choose a Svigator. No. Okay, we don't have it. So I think we just ice this up. Giving her a single tag doesn't do it. We have to give her 2 tags for boom. So I think here we will just credit and then do these 2. Is credit better than install? Yeah, I think so. Enjoy your tags. We just money HHN, do we kill with boom? Yeah. Ian, how's it going? Happy New Year. That's our plan for next turn. I think we're just going to set up for this fork. Barnes & Noble was having a board game sale the other week and they had Arkham Horror, but it wasn't the revised core set. I know a lot of people were going to Barnes & Noble to go get all the Marvel Champion stuff they stocked early on in their stocking of board games. That's game. And just everything was half off. Good game. Yeah, that was a mean fork, right? Like this on its own doesn't kill. Like we need to have it double advanced on our turn starts. Actually, even more than that. We need to have it like quadruple advanced. With the 4 tags, it's really hard to interact with both things. That being said, if she got her hand size up, like best defense, we don't have it. It's really hard for us to do that. Hey, you too. Should have BM to trash the obelisk the best defense? We didn't have enough money. If we had more money, yeah, we would do it. If we had more money, again, she has 4 tags, so this trash is a 4-coster. On its own, it's worth knowing that this card trashes 0-costers, and that's a big reason why it just ends up in the list generically, because you can trash no free lunch, which, hey, that's what the meta we're in right now. But yeah, that's rough. This deck is good. We didn't have a good start. Like, we did not have a good rolling start, and I do think this deck, I don't know actually how many assets we're playing. We're on 24. Wow, we did not draw that well. Like, I think on turn 1, you generally want to put 3 things on the table. It's hard against Criminal where you do need to ice up HQ, but if you're just playing against Anarch, I would just put 3 on the table and call it a day. Just couldn't get my economy fast enough. Yo, Veronica, good game. I feel with that deck, you probably want to, if you're worried about your economy. Obviously, border control and HQ against the HQ pressure card is really important. But I think you need to get your rogue trading on the table and then don't fire it. And then next turn, take 12 off of it. I think spending your turn getting 6 off of it is not good enough. Hey. I also had a fun time looking back on my board game stats, which I've been tracking. Like, I stopped tracking Netrunner on my board game stats because it was way too difficult, because I couldn't do it real time and I was tracking JNet. But tracking the board game stats was fun. We did not complete our 10x10 this year, which is no surprise. We got really, really close. Well, we got kind of close. And so we just set up our next 10x10. My partner and I do a 10x10. So like 10 board games, we'll play 10 times each and we track wins and we have like a nice wooden chart with colored meeples. Hey, thanks. Yeah, we are live right now. Thanks, you too. I was considering that. I think I talked myself into playing Obelisk because R&D was open, but that was a mistake. Oh, as in it was too expensive? All right, against Padma, we want to ice up R&D because she gets good value from that. We have Gaslight Spin, which is the best 2 cards in our hand. This is an okay hand. The Lorky just started playing on Jinteki with System Gateway. Do you have recommended decks for expanding off on that? Like more than System Gateway? Because that's a harder question. If you ask me that after this game, we can go into the deck list specifically, but there's a lot of people that play System Gateway only, and there's some published decks on Netrunner DB, but then generally people do like System Gateway plus Ashes, unless you want to go straight into Startup, which is the new format of basically System Gateway, then System Update. That was what I'd recommend next, and then going on into the new cycle. Please root for me, chat. Took a long break, might have to be real cards, never played. Oh, no worries. Oh, no worries. Ask questions if it helps. Yeah, so Startup is like had a rotation. Startup is meant to be the easiest format to get into if you want to play with a bigger card pool. But you can do a lot with just System Gateway. And then the next thing I would add is System Update, which is like a kind of hall of fame of old FFG cards that have been reprinted. It's really good. All right, send a message in our hand, a bit ugly. I think we can consider putting 3 on the table. Yeah, I think we should put 3 on the table and then we could like draw to hide the send a message. Maybe it goes poorly for us. R&D is wide open, which with 3 SDS in the deck, I don't think we mind that much. This Andre guy is a jerk. I don't know what I did say it. Rooting for Larsa? Oh, I see what you're doing. Yeah, that's fine. Whoa! Whoa! We seen it. I didn't think we'd see it. Spark of Inspiration to get an Orca turn 1, revealing a lot of cards. I can't even read that list of cards, but it is a ton of cards. Hippocampic, Adjusted Matrix. I think they're going to adjust a Matrix and Orca. Wow, absolutely nailed it off the top. Now this is going to help in no way to the deck. Like we have 1 Sentry, we're not going to res it. But well done. I'm also, yeah, I'm rooting for Larsa now. I haven't seen this hit the table, let alone for 3 credits on turn 1. It's like not a good play into 3 assets, but I'm stoked. They have Jailbreak, they have Deep Dive, and Into the Depths. So we saw an Endurance there. So like we have to ice up R&D. Dirty Laundry on 0 credits. Can't trash that, but it's going to give them some money. Unfortunately, they've interacted. So if there's a Gaslight on the table, that's just hard-hitting Newstown. Like, this is how bad this is. If there's a Gaslight on the table, we just do Economic War for hard-hitting news. That's it. Like, you can't. Gaslight, you can't. It's a launch campaign. It costs 2 to trash, but the access with no money because Dirty Laundry gives you the money after. I've been playing this list. It's fun, but not very good. Is this like one program? Daily cast. Okay, well, now we can't Economic Warfare them, so that's good. But no Gaslight here. Can we draw into a Gaslight? We can draw into a Drago. Oh, wow. So if we... Thinking. Okay, so if we... Svigator away the launch campaign, we can go get a... What's it called? Like, this could be a lethal on turn 1. If we top deck the end of the line, we would win. If we had a Gaslight, we'd win too. Because we can Svigator away the launch campaign to get the Drago, and then we could double advance the Drago and the line because there are 3 cards in hand. Yeah, I don't know if we do that. We'll start with the Spin Doctor, I think, to see if we get an end of the line. We didn't, but we have a Gaslight. I still think we'll go for it. So we'll res this. We'll res that. Start a turn. We'll do our Astro Bar first to gain 2 credits. Then we'll Svigator this. Install a 0 coster. Just get a Drago, I guess. We can't protect it, actually. This might be wrong. All right, we didn't top deck the lethal. We had a lethal there. You win this turn with the card as a Gaslight instead of Spin Doctor. Yeah, if that was a Gaslight, we would have won on the spot. Yeah. Once per turn. Yours or mine. They are both considered different turns. So actually listen to Decklist right up. Those are exact 3 cards installed. Yeah, turn 1. There's a lethal there. If that was a Gaslight, that is a lethal. Okay, so we can't ice that up, which is unfortunate. We have a Gaslight here, though. We don't have a hard-hitting news. So I think we're just going to put 3 more things on the table. Like, we probably shouldn't have pulled that. It was not worth the risk. And now with a Gaslight in hand, we had a guaranteed... Well, not guaranteed, because they still have to have a few cards in hand. But you know what I mean? All right, here we go. Finely tuned meta deck versus Orca. I know, this might be really bad. It could have been over turn 1, which is unfortunate. It's gonna take us all a while to not go down to 3 cards on turn 1, but like it's kind of niche. It's just like you can build a deck into it. 3, I think Ob does it really well pulling Drago, but yeah. Oh no, they're leaving us on the table with Drago. That can't be good. They have 4 cards in hand though. That's nice. So what do we do here? We res this. I'll res the... I don't think we res the Gaslight because it doesn't actually do anything. We need ice. This we can make into another Spin Doctor. I think that's fair, actually. I think we want just card draw. So this is why I love Op, right? Because you have all these choices. So we'll do launch campaign. Then we'll Svigator this to get another Spin Doctor. I don't want to shuffle these cards back. We'll draw cards when we want to. So we have a wall-to-wall. If we never install Ice, Whales, Blanket, So's Endurance. Yeah, and then we lose a Deep Dive, but not the worst. Just get end of line to be ready. I'm not in a rush to do it. I'm not in the biggest rush to do it. But you're right, we could. I just don't know if they're going to interact with that. Oh, we have to trash this manually, excuse me. It's unique. All right, so now we ice up this, and then I think we just start tagging them slowly. Because we might actually not want end of line. We might want boom. I don't know if they're on. So we're still going to be short here. Yeah, we're still going to be short because we can pull boom with this. If they ever go down to 3 cards in hand, they just lose. If they can't pinhole down this Drago or produce a breaker for Afshar, which could be an endurance. But if they endurance through this, they still have to trash that. Might be hard. They have telework. I don't know if I say hi, Lucas. Draw. All right, well, they have a lot of cards in hand, so that's good for them. R&D is wide open. We haven't seen a counter, like a power counter card yet for Padma to charge. Is there anything we can Svigator? No, they're all zeros. We can go find a -1. Too bad this deck can't fit in 1 Seamless. The 1 Seamless would be really good, and that's like the big Gaslight thing. It's like you're kind of encouraged to play weird 1-ofs. I wonder if it's actually worth the slot. But strange 1-ofs is like kind of the name of the game with Gaslight, right? Like, I don't think this deck wants to spend 1 of Arc Lockdown, but like, yeah, why not, I guess. If your deck has extra influence, you're playing Gaslight, like you can do some weird things as long as like getting rid of that paperclip actually matters. Which in this deck, it kind of does. Crap. No, you're doing good. What's up? Stone Ship, that actually saves them. That's really good. They don't die to boom. That's a really good install. That being said, we can threaten it with Drago. So I think we just crack the Drago and then see if they use it. I don't think we have a start a turn trigger here. Oh, we don't even have to crack the Drago. We just best defense it. Money is getting a bit low. We can always like Sphegator, this Sphegator. I think that's fine. 11 credits is probably enough. Anything you want to do? So here they could go. We will best defense this because we do lose to it. And then we'll just advance this twice. And or even just at once is good enough. But they need a way to deal with the Afshar. Maybe double ice is actually good. That's the point. Yeah, in theory they can crack this before we take our first click. There's paid ability windows before and after every click. So as long once they give us priority, then we can start hitting buttons. Cool. And it's gone. If Big Brother was legal, this would be an amazing meta. Yeah, Big Brother would be very, very good. You could fire it before I take any clicks. But best defense beats that, yeah. Yeah, so basically what they're saying here is if we gave them a tag with Drago, before we spend a click to actually trash the thing, they could have popped the Stone Ship, which is where this card like gets around that. Because as soon as they say you have priority, you can actually just spend a click. Yeah, so it's a bit ugly. So I think we advance this once and just ice it up again. That's probably good enough. We're gonna need 8 credits. We always have Sphegator to jump 3, so I just want to make sure it looks like we're okay with this. So I'll put this here, and then I'll advance this, and then we'll pass. Pinhole threading or lose. And even if they pinhole threading, they're going to be an economic into hard-hitting news. So that's another good reason to keep this on the table. Because it does threaten something else. Again, like they have other issues. I don't know if they'll check the table. I think flushing out Gaslights does make sense. They're on 10 credits. They have Teleworks access to, but they're just drawing up. So they're looking for something. Another Stone Ship buys them a minute. That's for sure. No free lunch buys them a turn as well. So like we're just trading tech cards until they set up. And again, Shaper is just about setting up and hopefully getting to that late game where they have everything. I wonder how good a Vention Keeling deck is. I'd be really surprised. Oh, there's a boat. Here we go. So frustrating that the proper runner counterplay to this isn't just slam centrals over and over. Oh yeah, it's not. Like it's really hard to close the game off. Well, like SDS and all this small agendas. Yeah, of course. I think they have a what's it called? The thing that installs this cheaper. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Hit centrals means you just lose to hard-hitting news. So I think it's just like play 3 pinhole, play 3 no free lunch. That's obviously a bit like kind of overkill. But some combination of that seems necessary. I'm not supposed to pay for that. Endurance to grip. We don't have a border control here. Can you drag that card to HQ for them? Which card? I think they missed. That's a good play. They're going to have us here if they... Oh, it was in their area. Yeah, I can't add it to their hand. They have to see it, but I think they saw it. This is actually a really good play. That can't be it. I think they won the third time. Time is a charm. Well, that's no worries. Yeah, they're going to have us here. So they have Into the Depths, which is going to give them money. This server does not keep them out. While we can res everything here, at least with 3 subroutines on this, it gets a bit awkward. But yeah, this is 3 subroutines, and if they break this, they can't break this. So they'll end up with a tag, actually. I think we're in a good spot because the Gaslight will connect. We're going to res this and see how it goes. But with the Sphegator, we can pull the end of the line and play it. So I think no matter what here, they're in an awkward spot. Because if they break 2 on this, they're not breaking the Afshar. So yeah, I think we're actually in a good spot. That's because they're on 3 cards in hand, right? If they're on 4 cards in hand, mind you, sorry, they're Into the Depthsing the server, which is kind of good. But this has a lot of subroutines. And if they let to fire, they'll have a tag and only 2 cards. So they're in a really awkward fork here. Yeah, I don't think there's a way that they don't die here. Fire all? Okay. All right. They lost the creative, and now they can keep going, and we don't have to res this because they have 2 cards and a tag. So this doesn't actually matter. and you can't fire this on their turn. You can only do it on your turn. It's not like an NGO friend. Sometimes, yeah. A lot of there. Just there to scare you. All right, continue to approach ice. We don't need to res this. We could res this to text of the boat, but it just kind of feels like BM. Because no matter what, we can start with 3 credits. We just trash something. So they're gonna get a lot for here. Wait, is there something they can install? Install a program. I don't think there's any program that prevents death here. Don't they not die if they break and force you to res? No, because they'll have a tag, right? And like with the 2 cards in hand, we can just pull with the gaslight the end of the line, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Like 2 cards, 1 tag. That's why we have gaslight. So we'll gaslight. And we always could have Svigator'd, so we could have trashed. That's that. You know, you die. You die slowly. We can get credits from Svigator. Yeah, we could have resed it. We would get credits from Svigator, but there's no point complicating things. Yeah, that's a hard fork. Thanks, you too. Yeah, that turn 1 Orca is like flashy as heck. Unfortunately, in this matchup, it's a really bad play when it's all about just like controlling economy of the table. It's cool to see that. That might be the few and far between times we might see Orca on this channel, unfortunately. You bully? It's what the deck does. Yeah, you're right. Can I trash no free lunch in response to gaslight? Yes, you can. There's no real reason to do it. Excuse me, no, you can't. Yes and no. So you can trash it. You're the best internet content can find. Can I rewind? Of course, yeah. The VOD will be up on YouTube. The stream. It's called Rush. Thanks for that. Okay, so yes, you can. Well, sort of. Once this is firing, you can't. There's no interrupt. But before the corporation spends their first click, then you can pop the tag. So that's the best case scenario. You force them to get the end of the line, and then before they spend a click, you can clear the tag. Not like gaslight is. It's not like a stack where it goes on a paid ability window, because this isn't a paid ability. Actually, kind of it is. Not 100% sure about that, but you can definitely crack your no free lunch before they do anything. There's a window before click 1. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think you can fire your no free lunch between start of turn triggers, because I don't think those are actually active paid ability windows. You can sequence them, but before they start spending a click, you can do something. So yeah. Good to see the Orca on the table. Yeah, unfortunately, this deck runs like very few sentries. I think what's it called in it? It's not terrible. The Veritas. Some of the decks will run no Veritas, but it's nice enough to just have it something that gives a tag if they're not ready to deal with it, and is like taxing enough. I still need to rewatch the clock video. Yeah, there's a clock video Sanjay put up. I want to make a timing structure video. Adjusted Matrix. I saw this. Yeah, we saw this when they dug through their deck. So Adjusted Matrix is neat. Is the thing. What do you attach it to though? Oh, it's on Arca. So this is the ugly thing about Adjusted Matrix that a lot of people don't realize, is that it has an interface text on it. And interface means to use the Adjusted Matrix, you have to have your Orca up to strength. So you can't just Orca Adjusted Matrix, you actually have to pay. And admittedly, it's 2 for 3 strength, which is not the worst. And then you are breaking with this program, technically, right? Because Adjusted Matrix gives the program the text. So that should work. It's just you have to remember that you are going to have to boost strength, which is kind of ugly. Best to clear the tag right away in case the end of line is an HQ. Oh yeah, for sure. If you have 3 cards or less in hand and you have a tag, you should clear it immediately. Let alone like, yeah, for sure. Especially if they showed triggered a gaslight and they showed you they had the end of the line. Like there's no secrets there. You always reveal the card. That's cool. Matrix with Numb has a shot. I thought about it. Yeah, Numb is like the high strength breaker for Adjusted Matrix right now. Thanks for the game, eh? Yeah, that's always the problem with Adjusted Matrix is the original doesn't say it. It's one of the few cards that I think should say interface on it because it is confusing. Yeah, Endless Hunger Adjusted Matrix. We've seen those decks before. They're really cool. Okay. It's not about the winning. It's about the friends we make along the way. Hey, cheers. Okay. Any list on Essence Standard? I think that's what we're going to do right now. Been running her on startup and loving what wanted to play with Standard. I think that's what we're going to do right now. We named the stream Rush B because we want to plant some bombs. So let's do it. How long have we been streaming for? We've been streaming for almost 2 hours. Okay, we can do a bit more. Let's build a deck. All right, if you're just tuning in, by the way, welcome. Hopefully your Monday's doing all right. Again, next weekend on Sunday at, it's going to be 9 a.m. Eastern Standard. That's 3 o'clock in the afternoon for Central, I think it's European time. We'll be having the Fight Club. The first leg of it streamed here today. I talked about it a bit earlier on the stream, but if you're just tuning in, maybe you're new to the channel. If you hit the follow button or the notification button on Twitch or YouTube, you'll know when we're live. But we have a big event that PSK is organizing with some of the best players in Netrunner in the world competing with the new cards from Parhelion for the first time ever. So that's on Sunday. I have a starting point ESA list if you want. Yeah, I'll take a look at it. One of the ESA lists that was shown to me was, I think Erin, she was playing it in an event in Toronto. I don't think she published it, so I didn't want to play it exactly. But they look like really kind of lean. They look surprisingly like lean lists. Let's see what Wendigon has. All right, super deep core hole. Love it. All right. Oh, Apocalypse. This is not what I had expected, but this is an ESA list for standard. So just to go over some of the cards here, ESA 4515 from Midnight Sun says the first time each turn you suffer a core damage, you may draw a card in Sabotage 2. It's a good effect. It's a really good effect. Core damage is inherently a bit expensive because you lose a card. It makes all your core damage cards cost 2 cards, and this helps get through your deck and fix that issue. Sabotage 2 obviously very strong, and you kind of need that as like an alternate win condition. Specifically in startup, it's really hard where Anarchs struggle to get multi-access anyway to see more cards, and Sabotage kind of fits the bill pretty well. I haven't explored enough startup. I think Anarch in startup has a bit of a challenge since it's hard to make a deck that doesn't go in on Sabotage theme. I agree, and I don't think that's wrong. I think Sabotage is really fun in startup, but yeah, they just kind of struggle to find any other reasonable multi-access. Mind you, Finality is really good, but it is inherently a core damage card, which you might as well Sabotage at the same time. All right, you're looking at 3 Chistushka. I've been finding this card to be obviously quite good, but people see it coming, so they ice up well into it, and it's kind of hard to play 3 of these. Again, sometimes you can look at your cards in your ESA deck and say, like, I'm going to trash them anyways, so who cares? I'll just play extra copies. And I've been generally playing 2 Chistushkas, but I think 3, there's a reason for it. Dirty Laundry, Finality. Finality is really good, and I think Finality is widely playable outside of core damage, outside of Anarch. It is just great. It's just a very good multi-access card on R&D that only takes a single click. It doesn't require you to install an expensive program. You're going to see this a fair bit outside of Faction, I reckon. It's quite good. Time Bomb is a better Sabotage card. I think Time Bomb is pretty good. I'm a big fan of Time Bomb. Katorga Breakout. A weird card, and we talked about this in our set review. This is a really, really good card. It's a very simple, very good thing that it does, but it's hard to see a deck that wants to play this over just like playing other good cards that you're happy to draw into. There's not, I guess there are some cards in this deck that you really want to recur, and I think a big thing is that, like, you can bring back your Apocalypse. We didn't address the Apocalypse. Apocalypse is quite strong, and I guess, is ESA that much better when you trash ice? I guess every deck generally is to some extent. But it's hard to have a card like this in your hand when you want to play ESA and take core damage because you'll eventually lose this. And the Katorga Breakouts kind of help you bring that back. So we'll see how that goes. We should have 3 Ghost Tongue. Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think 3 Ghost Tongue makes a fair bit of sense when you're on 23 events. It's very powerful. You can always do 2 Ghost Tongue and like 1 prepaid if you really want to kind of make it so you have less dead draws in your deck. It's not as strong as Ghost Tongue, but it's like comparable, and it means you have another one to install. You have to figure out how many matchups you'd want to install 2. But yeah, maybe 3 Ghost Tongue is just correct. 2 Overclock. We're not playing Raindrops Cut Stone. We are actually, so that's interesting. Pinhole for the meta. Raindrops Cut Stone. Neat. Interesting. Not sure how good this card is. I'm excited to just try this. Steel Skin, Sure Gamble, fantastic. Okay. Other cards. The economy engine of these decks and the ESA decks are really interesting because Ghost Tongue is very powerful. It reduces the cost of events in our deck pretty substantially, so we can play more of them and get more value out of them. It's kind of hard in the modern meta if you're not dealt or not set up to deal with tags, and this deck in no way is set up to deal with tags, is that your resources can get trashed. So while you could play the companions, daily cast, liberated accounts, all that sort of stuff, you can't rely on it, which is pretty difficult. So we're on 1 DJ, 2 liberated, which is okay. I found in startup, like, you really need more of these because this is so much economy, but and you have limited economy in startup. This is standard, mind you, but it's kind of interesting to see the difference how these economy engines have changed. We have some cards that I would probably contest. I don't like Buffer Drive at all as a card. It's really expensive. It costs 1 influence and allows you to put cards back on the bottom of your deck when they're trashed once per turn. Now that's only very important if you find yourself in a matchup in which you lose because you run out of cards. Now, Amelia has second part of the text, and we'll get to that, but like this is such an expensive cost for any deck just to put cards on the bottom of your deck, and I don't think we have any shuffle effects. So there's a big chance that the game is going to be over before we redraw the cards we put on the bottom of our deck. Now, you might think in any matchup where damage matters, and not like burst damage that kills you on board states, but like they grind you down with Jinteki. And then Jinteki matchup in this is just really difficult regardless, unless you like play half the cards in your deck you don't consider playing because they require you to take core damage, which is inherently a bad thing to do into damage decks, usually. So I don't know. Now, the big strength of this card is that you can remove this from the game to add a card from the heap to top of your stack, which means you can ensure to draw into it clicklessly if you're taking core damage on the turn, which means you can set up your Apocalypse. To me, this feels like a same kind of slot as Katurga Breakout, but maybe I just rather play Katurga Breakout. I don't like Buffer Drive, and people love Buffer Drive. It's no longer in startup, but it's going to take a lot to convince me that this is a card that's worth playing. 2 Ghost Tongue, Hippocampic. Another card that like gives you more hand size, which abstractly is good, maybe, if hand size is really a problem for you. It's also nice that it's a cybernetic. I don't know if we're building into it. We're not really building into cybernetics, but it's another card that's probably nice, but not necessary. We'll see how often low hand size hurts us. And I think low hand size or tags, actually, people are like self-growth programming your marrow. It can get scary. Not that this thing is that hard to install. I guess the core damage. Time Bomb. Turns out it's really easy to play, and it does 3 Sabotage down the line. I like this card a lot. I want to play more of this. Time Bomb is just kind of good and fun. We're not playing Enga, but like Time Bomb is, it's easy. It's easy multi-axis. And Zenith Chip slaps. Such a good card. Otherwise, our Breaker Suite, it's kind of standard, and we have 3 Botulists. Looking at this deck, I think we have pretty limited card draw, and we have very limited economy to some extent. Like, it's all based off of, the event package, which runs out. Maybe that's a reason why Buffer Drive, but then you have to go through your deck again, and realistically, that doesn't happen that often. So things that you could consider, Fermenter is just really good. It'll be the other virus we play in the deck, but Fermenter is just kind of so good right now as just a card you install, and then hopefully you don't crack it until you need to crack it. I think that's fantastic. We don't run Hippo, which is another very good Anar card. I guess if you're playing Apocalypse, those decks don't need Hippo. But I think the economy here is a bit probably lacking. I want to see how this plays to see if that's the case. But it's interesting. I just want to see how hard it is. Like, I would be so scared to play cards you have to hold in your hand in the one deck that consistently takes cards out of their own hand. So yeah, we'll see how that lines up. No Liberates or Moshing. Yeah, that's a big thing with this deck too, is like it has very little card draw. Like very, very little card draw. All we have is 3 Steel Skin and then Raindrops Cut Stone. That's it. That's not enough card draw. Specifically when Anarch is like kind of inconsistent at drawing their own stuff. Labor Rights is okay. I think it kind of competes to some extent with Katurga Breakout, and you could consider either one. One of them is better for the late game. This is better for on tempo. We also, core damage is card draw. It's not card draw, it's card cycling, right? Because like you core damage and lose a card to draw a card, and card cycling is really important, but like it's not the huge card advantage that you need. So yeah, I think that's gonna be an issue. You see a lot of these decks in startup as well, like really want to play, and we do have Zenith. Zenith, mind you, is card draw. This is the best card draw card in your deck. It needs to be shouted out. So we'll see how that goes, but I feel like that's gonna hamstring us a bit. Note that Enga gives you the equivalent of being Alice and having Ma. It's actually not that bad. I don't think Enga's bad, and I want to play in standard. I want to play not so much Alice, but I want to play Ma with Enga in like Hoshiko, just to have consistent Anar card draw while also having a very strong disruption engine. I'm really excited to that. I think Ma Enga is going to be quite fun. I'm not a big supporter of Alice. I feel like I'd rather just have consistency than additional damage. Yeah, so there's other cards you can put into this. Again, Moshing is really good. Big thing is we can't find our breakers when we need it. We have Botulus to kind of bridge that gap, but this could struggle. I want to try this out, but I think there might be some issues we'll run into. I think this might be greedy, but this is a nice starting point. I just want to show this. Again, I don't think this is my deck. I think this is very close to Erin's, her deck. I have to log in again? That's weird. Something like this. This is run-based. This is standard? Don't look at that. Yeah, this is kind of where I ended up, where it's just like very good stuff, low to the ground, run-based stuff. So you still have that event package, but you have more events that give you bigger bursts of economy and a bit more card draw. So we're running Deuce's Wild, which is, again, the best of both worlds, especially when you pay for 1 credit. We have Bravado because why not? Other differences, we're running Ghost Tongue, 3 of course. 3x Hippo for our ice destruction, which again, we're not playing Apocalypse, so you don't need this as much. We're on 3 Time Bomb, which might be a lot. We're on 2 Zenith because it's one of the best cards. It really is, especially when we want to run every turn with Enga. And then we have a single Mystic and then a Dr. Nuka. I just wanted to try Dr. Nuka. We had 2 influence floating, and Dr. Nuka feels not so bad because it's a card that you can offshore from your hand very cheaply, and then you have card draw waiting for you, which sometimes in this deck you want to like, oh, I want to play 2 cards, take a core damage, and then burst draw. This helps you get there, so I kind of like it. I think this might also have not enough economy. It also does not in any extent take into account the meta. Like we're on no free lunch, no pinhole threading. So we've made some sacrifices there, and I think we can work on that. But this is also like a very similar list. We're also in Begamut. And I talked about how before in one of the videos we put on the channel, whether you can play Begamut or whether you can play Tremolo. And I think Begamut's actually fine. It's good. It's good. I don't think you need to play Tremolo when you're taking that much core damage. And I think this deck could probably play Begamut instead of Paperclip as well. It's expensive and bulky, but once it's down, it's pretty good. Considering the core damage, unless you're an Essa, DreamNet is better than Zenit. No, not necessarily. In fact, not at all. Zenit is really cheap. I think in most matchups, the core damage, even if you're not Essa, is barely a cost. Like against an HB deck, spending 1 core damage to save you 2 credits and have this not be a resource against like tags is very much worth it. Whether you're spending influence on this is a different question, but I do think DreamNet is outclassed by this in more decks than not. Obviously, digital, 2-link, all that sort of stuff, but Zenit is kind of really, really good. Not being a resource, not costing 3 is kind of sick. Zenit slaps. Let's try this. That 1 HP agenda that loves your core damage. Yeah, that's the problem with also the Essa. And like, I was not excited to play Essa right when the new set came out because everyone was on Thule. I'm hoping right now people cool down on their Thule decks that are just like not converting really well. But it's really hard to play this into Jinteki damage, into Thule core damage. But against like everything else, you can kind of just play all your core damage cards. It's not a problem. I'm glad someone else says Zenit's great. Yo, Jeff, Happy New Year. Yeah, Zenit's good. It's really, really good. I want to play 2 of these in Essa decks. It's just kind of cheap and easy. Like turn 1, you can play Zenit. Turn 1, installing a DreamNet is actually kind of a consideration. But almost most hands, you can just slap that down. Yeah, and Essa 2, like obviously Sabo draw, or draw 1, Sabo 2 makes us so much better than anybody else. But I don't think DreamNet is entirely... I think there's a lot of decks I would consider Zenit over DreamNet. What are we at? Super... deep core hole is I'm on a corp. My bad. There's no way that a card from your hand is not either dangerous to lose or worth 2 credits. In Anarch, you want to lose cards in hand. In Criminal, it's a bit harder, but not impossible. In Shaper, not the worst, but that's probably the faction that plays it the least consistently anyways. Runner deck. Howdy from London. Jason, how's it going? How's your New Year been? I've been asking a lot of folks how their New Year's, and no one's directly saying it's been good, but that's okay. I understand streamer talk can be a bit abstract, and I don't need to put you on the spot, but it's weird. It's weird sometimes. Super deep core hole. Standard Eza. Increment powers up Tremolo too. Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of Tremolo out of faction. I'm so excited for next weekend when we see like, you know, players and testing groups that have been really trying to push the set to the limit to see whether some of the calls that like Jeff and I made on our tier list video end up being true. Tremolo is abstractly a very, very good card. Will people play it? Is it worth playing around? Is it worth having an ugly early game? We'll find out. Corp, Runner. Discard Shaper. Let's go. Levy AR 2023 has been reasonable so far. Small sample size, but so far not so bad. It's been 2 days, nothing awful has happened. Exactly. 2023 hadn't had a chance to break me yet. It's early. Oh, just you watch out. Say it. Behind every corner. Sorry. Sorry. Hey, it's Chris. I think is Chris playing next weekend? I think Chris is playing next weekend. Ooh, Iswak, sick. I'm excited to see what Chris is doing in Iswak. Okay. Hey. Excited for that. So, Jank, you're playing as well, right? Yeah. Isawak is also, Jinteki is inherently one of the other bad matchups because there's so many Jinteki cards printed in the set that say if you have a face down card in archives, do something good. Like just having the 2-1 agenda that allows them to return a Spin Doctor or return a Rashida on the table on tempo is kind of messed up. And specifically on some of the score patterns of Isawak, well, they'll install Advance that, I keep forgetting the name of this card. It has a really great flavor. Install Advance it, and then they get a Spin Doctor score on their 4-star turn. Like, it's disgusting. Core damage or sabotage inherently into Jinteki feels really bad. So, terrifying. Ooh. Keep them guessing. Was this your choice? Or did you get the short Jinteki straw? Hybrid release, thank you. Yeah, it's a good team. All the teams are good teams, though. So every team is... yeah, they're all very, very good. We meant to put another Ghost Tongue in this deck, but we opened with a Ghost Tongue. Good thing about Buffer Drive is we're okay discarding it. Don't like buffer drive. Yeah, so for the tournament next weekend, everyone has to play a different faction or at least a different ID. Try not to blow it. Listen, I love Jinteki. Hey, that's good. Hey, there's always one. All right. What's the format? It's so the format is, again, I haven't read the rules document, so it might change. But the idea is that one player comes up from one team, one player from the other team, and they play a match, single-sided, if I'm not mistaken. And then whoever loses that sits down. They don't play for that day anymore. And so it's basically last team standing. And I think they alternate runner, corp, runner, corp, runner, corp as much as they can. All right, what do we got? We got double hedge. Okay. Yeah, next weekend's gonna be great. All right, so we can just open with Ghost Tongue and hope it doesn't hit our Sure Gamble. Or we could be less greedy and just play Sure Gamble to Ghost Tongue. I think the case where we lose the Sure Gamble to the Ghost Tongue is not worth saving a credit on this. That being said, it's not, yeah, okay, let's see. Lose our buffer drive. Oh, we lost a Marrow. That's the second worst. League players have tech specifically to counter you. Just getting the excuses in. No, this is good. This is good. This is good. I'm excited to see. 2 cards from HQ. Love it. So that means the 1 card in there might be good. We're on low cards. They're on high credits. So we could just flatline to some stuff, I reckon. 2 cards in archives, and we know they're probably not agendas. Now, they could have a hybrid release in hand. Thank you for the name. We'll just check the top of R&D. And then draw last click feels bad. But like Zenith in this hand would be sick. Thimble Rig is a nightmare. We break that for 3 credits. It's so bad for us. It's really quite bad. We're on 4 hand size. Okay, let's go. All right, they have a Thimble Rig. We have a Dirty Laundry, and the rest of our hand is kind of butt. It's really kind of butt. All right, are we gonna get Vincian Keelinged? Hey Pat, Happy New Year, man. We still got to figure out a day to do our Arkham run. You break it for 1 virus token too? Oh, that's true. That's true. We had Botulus. Yeah, I shouldn't discount that. All right, we'll drop. Well, there she is. Shit. Oh no. This is where we're going to be happy to have Hippocampic because we lost our 1 Marrow of 2. Let's go. What did they sabo from? Anemone? Okay, they're trying to hurt us. They sabotage 2 from R&D, so 2 random. That could be a spin dock. We have to discard 2 cards here unless we install the Hippocampic, hoping to hit anything else besides Liberated. Apocalypse, great. Glad you made it back. Yeah, we were there for a bit. We were meant to come back way earlier. Triple advance. Okay. Ah, sick. Sabotage is cool sometimes. This is what I'm talking about. Sometimes Sabotage just loses you the game against Jinteki. Because they had this in the bin that they sabotaged from their hand. Admittedly, if we ran archives and flipped it, maybe we have to play a bit different. But like, yeah. Cool. All right. Fantastic. That's what I mean. There's so many bad reasons to sabotage Jinteki. Like, I don't know what you do. Check archives constantly. They have an Anemone. One of these is a Thimble Rig. They're on 10 credits. Regenesis. That's mine. We can't really afford to trash anything. We probably should just put the Liberated down. Last click, we hit a snare. It's kind of bad. Is Chris on snare? We saw an Anemone, so I wouldn't put it past him to be on snare. Archives went on nice. Yeah, we could have checked it. We definitely could have checked it. Did we think that Chris was going to throw out? And maybe, admittedly, he didn't throw it out. Maybe he ripped it off the top of R&D. But yeah, the question is, how often do we have to check our archives? And I think with Zenith, and that's my favorite thing about Zenith, it gives you an on-tempo way to do check archives. Because usually in most like Sabotage decks or any sort of disruption decks, checking archive is your bad turn, right? Like that's your bad click. Okay, so if they have double Seamless in hand, we lose to the table. Mind you, Iswak hasn't been relevant so far. I guess we'll check this so we don't lose. La Costa, Simulation, and Nanocivic. So Nanocivic, another real big reason why Sabotage is kind of bad in this matchup. We have a Katurga, which costs us 1 to draw a Dirty Laundry. Is that worth it? Is that worth it? I honestly don't know if that's worth it. I think we might pinhole this to see what it is. And we think that's a Thimble Rig, which we can't deal with. Iswak only has to trigger once to be worth it, right? Maybe, but if it triggers once, is it worth playing as an ID? If it triggers once, it changes the game. You're totally right about that. So we think that's a Thimble Rig. So we have 5 cards and 33 that could deal with the Thimble Rig. We could pinhole threading if it's a Rashida. We already got a free draw. Katurga can get us into another reason why to play maybe like more burst run. You can gamble, play Katurga on HQ. Yeah, for the Axis. But if the run's not successful, that's a really bad gamble. Pincel, how's it going? Happy New Year. They installed that really early too, and then they sabotaged all but one card. So I think the one card they kept is a Regenesis, and we've seen most of the draw, so I don't actually like the HQ run. I think we know most cards. To fetch APOC if it's just net damage ice? Oh, that's really sick, actually. Yeah, I'm in on that. I think that's really cool. So we can APOC through this. I wonder how worth it is. Happy New Year, thank you. Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool line. Because they have to respect the APOC here. It's a boarding control. Okay. We have a paperclip in hand, not in the bin. They're on 7. We know this is a thimble rig. We're pretty sure they're not on seamless. It just, like, again, our card draw is so limited. We're actually clicking to draw a lot, which kind of feels bad. Like, we have no Earthrise. We don't have moshing. But, like, I would mosh the heck out of this hand. Barring maybe Pinhole Threading to check for Rashida. We can draw once. Lacosta is pretty likely to some extent, and Civic is kind of likely. This is not good. Again, hand size. It's not what we want here. And that's the thing. It's like, how do you find time for buffer drive, you know? Okay, that's good at least. So we can lose here. Oh, they have it. Oh, they have it. Oh, they have it. Oh, that's it. Oh, good game. When did you draw those? When did they draw double seamless? Turn 5. Take that, World Tree deck. Was APOC actually good with 3 Cybernetics installed? I guess it keeps you from losing. Oh, yeah, that's true, actually. APOC is kind of awkward when we go down to, like, 2 hand size or whatever. Was the card? Oh. Ah. Wow. Kalana, how's it going? How are the cards? Yeah, that was wild. Like, that's what we lose to on the spot. It didn't have to be a 5-3. Well, but they didn't fire their ability. If it was a 4-2, they could have just seamless advanced. Yeah, that seems wild. So this is we know what this is. This is a thimble rig. Yeah. So that's like a hard card for us to deal with. And again, our card draw is limited and we don't have, if we drew into a, what's it called here? Admittedly, even if we drew into one of our answers for this ice, like, I don't know if we were able to steal the avocado. Like, we just didn't have enough cards in hand. Hey, Adar, how's it going? It's going well. Thanks. Hey, you too. Best of luck next weekend. Oof, yeah, I don't know. Giving them 3 points of sabotage felt bad. Hey, cheers. All right. Oh, let's try that again. Oh, God. Oh, that was so bad. 7 Xavier proves that Kentucky win? Heck yeah. That's a good one. All right, say it. What do you got? If y'all don't know, say it. Say it builds weird decks. Oh, it's Ampere. Okay, say it's going to have a weird Ampere deck. Thank you. Thanks, you too. All right, so, you know, I was critical about some of these cards in the deck, and let's talk about this opening hand here. Like, do we ever want to open with Hippocampic in our hand? No. How many Hippocampics do we want to play a game? Maybe 0, maybe 1. Maybe we should just play a 3rd Marrow instead of this. Again, depends how much core damage you're taking, but not a card I think you need. This is Ampere, mind you. Their agendas are limited to how many they can play, but each card in their deck is going to be unique. Botchless, Double Steel Skin is card draw, but we don't have economy. Katurga, kind of ugly too. And you saw that in the last game. Katurga gave us an APOC play, which actually would have been a sick way to dismantle that board, considering the oboe. All right, we got the one of Zenith. Can't feel too bad about that. Economy, very limited. In fact, nothing in hand. So we're going to have to hope. Good thing, though, against playing against Ampere is that they inherently don't have a lot of recursion. They have to play all the weird recursion cards, but there's only one Spin Doctor, only one, what is the Jiteki one called? There's 2 Jiteki ones. I'm blanking on the names. But they have very limited recursion. So some of the sabotage actually can be pretty impactful. Genotyping, yeah, and the other one is the Bird Barbecue one. I don't know the name. Too big to fail. Sick start. Okay, cool. Let's hit anything else besides these 2. That's fine. Marrow for next turn. Yeah, Bird Barbecue. Good. Sabotage 2. Let's see where it comes from. This is really difficult. Now they have a single ice, so they need to go fast. They did 2 from R&D, so just unknown stuff. So we can go check that. It's technically better in some ways than seeing the top of R&D. Yeah, it's more accesses, I guess. We had bad pub though for trashing stuff. It is an Atlas off the top. And on, it looks like this might be just mid-range fast advance with calibration testing. Take an Atlas. Nice. We had bad pub, which is good with these breakers. Next turn we install the Marrow. We need to find economy. That's economy. I'm going to install this here and hope it hits. Oh no, we don't want to install. We already took in our core damage, so we'll just take a credit. Yeah. Longevity, yeah, they probably are playing Longevity Serum when it comes to these, but I'm thinking more of like the ones that they can just play on any board state, right? So Bird Barbecue, Spin Doctor, Drudge Work, sort of. I don't know what that is. 12 credits. Can't really deal with ice. Would we rather have Ghost Tongue or Marrow on this board state? Marrow does do Sabotage if they're scoring out. Let's start with the Marrow. All right, we hit the Steel Skin. Let's draw a card. Okay, we have a Time Bomb. Can we afford to install that? We don't have a lot of money here. 2 cards from top of R&D. Oh, sorry, 1 from R&D, 1 from HQ. How did a card get in there? Did they discard a card? Check that. But we need money now. The Dirty Laundry would be sick. And this is set up if they do score out. There's the Dirty Laundry. It's a Drafter and a Maryland, so just generic good stuff. I think we have to Dirty Laundry here in R&D. It's a shame not to get the Ghost Tongue, but that's going to be next turn coming. And then we'll just put down the Time Bomb, which again, random damage. That's a hard card for us to deal with. It's just going to add up. Yeah, Simulation Reset, Diogen. Thank you. That's the one. That's Bird Barbecue. Vitruvius with the counter here would be bad. Off-World Office would be good. Remastered Edition. Cool. So like going to play all the 3/2s they have access to, which is a lot. Now there are 49. Marrow, Sabotage 1 from the top of R&D, so unknown card. We don't really need to Ghost Tongue on this board state. It gets through our cards. Here, like DJ Fenris is like, it's not the worst to hit HQ here. I think they're going to be playing the good stuff, average ice. In terms of like face checks, what are we expecting? Makes me happy Andre has such a good commentary that I can follow the game just from audio when I'm on sub. Well, yo, that's sick to hear. That's really cool. We have the Fenris with R&D open, right? So we can obviously get Los with this, which would be nice. But we can also just get, what's it called? DJ Fenris. I just don't know what the HQ ice is. We're assuming it's just like the generic good stuff, like Fairchild 3. I'm just going to name every single HB ice that gets played, and none of the techie stuff really. And then NVN stuff is fine. So it's 1 unknown in archives. Let's just hit the top of R&D. If we trash it, we can see another card. We'll start with the run here. That's a good steal. Damn, that's a good steal. All right, I think we need to get the liberated counts down. We're on 4. They're almost on 4. If they have a 3/2, they can do install advance, and they'll be on 4. So we haven't seen Audacity or Biotic yet. We're assuming Sansan, Biotic, Audacity. We've seen a Kali testing. We just need to get money down. Unfortunately, like, I don't know. Maybe we just APOC them. Maybe we do run HQ. I just want to do that first click unless it's a Fairchild. It's so hard when there's one-ofs, right? Okay, let's hopefully this Time Bomb does something. Okay. They drew an unknown card. And they're, unlike Nova, it's a 49 card deck. So we're looking at 6 out of 20 points. They're drawing up. Haven't seen ice yet. There's the Simulation Reset. So let's see how many cards they rip out of their hand. There's only 1 face down. So they ripped 3. They kept 1. If we know they have a Managarm, they probably kept the Managarm. I think that's one of their unfair ways they can win. To some extent, it feels bad, right, to play this when there's a Time Bomb ticking, but it'll be 3 turns before this is relevant. Tried APOC and ESA, but realized I got a huge negative synergy with Cybernetics. Burden, how's it going? Happy New Year. Yeah, I think so too. I don't know why I would go APOC over any other faction. They shuffled 3 back and they left 2 face downs. All right, I'm going to go HQ. I don't think we have a click to Fenris, but they just did mass draw after the Simulation Reset, so there's a big chance there's an agenda there. So let's see what the ice could be. Again, an 8, they could hit us with an Anansi, whatever. Time Bomb will blow up next turn. Nothing. Okay. Access and card draw. It's a ping. Scary. On its own, not the worst card. Like, I don't think you have to build into the tag punishment. Let's run R&D and hope it's not a Fairchild 3. It's a mouseless. Okay. I don't think we APOC this board. Lost in Apocalypse. They probably feel good about that. We have another one, but I don't think we APOC this board. It's a border control. Okay, that's good for them. Okay, so 2 cards here. We have a huge Time Bomb next turn. So obviously we don't want to APOC with a Time Bomb. That's actually pretty bad. I think we just hit this and remove the tag. So we know ping, probably a Managarm. We know they're not drawing 2 agendas, so they're not going to fast advance out unless they have it in hand. Planogram, nice, draw 3. Again, they probably just want to go fast. And we haven't seen a spin doctor yet or genotyping. So they might need ice up archives. They have a border control. So we know border control, Managarm. We think Managarm, ping. I'm like, we can't deal with ice. We just don't draw enough to deal with ice. We have actually paperclip. We can deal with ping and border control. Not that we can deal with the mouseless regardless. This is the kind of card that we want our raindrops cut stone. You just smash into the mouseless, draw 3. Yo, Stab, how's it going? How's your holidays? Second server? Credit, okay. That's another cool thing is like playing more card draw with Ghost Tongue, right? Like you can just go through your deck. Like why I really appreciate Deuces Wild in these lists. All right, Sabotage 3. Let's see where it comes from. Again, we run archives. We see 5 cards. Technically 2 of them they've decided can stay in there. So 1 from HQ, 2 from top of R&D. We're going to start there. No recursion. We got nothing. We see a non-equivalent, the ping, a biotic, and a roughneck. And I think you can tell, also an anoetic, very importantly, you can tell the order they throw these out, because I don't think Jinteki.net shuffles the archives, if I'm not mistaken. So the 2 that were in here first were anoetic, non-equivalent, and then the Sabotage was ping from HQ, and then biotic and roughneck from the top of R&D. JNet should really shuffle the bin if they don't. JNet does shuffle them? Wait, actually? It went, we don't celebrate Christmas as Christmas, so it's just a Sunday where I didn't leave the house. That's pretty good. All right, we can always finality through the mouseless. It didn't used to. Okay, it does now. But that kind of lines up. Like we knew they had this in hand, so it kind of makes sense for where it was. I think we will play the Ghost Tongue here. We want a finality eventually. We lost the Fenris. That's probably worth installing considering HQ might be open. 6 cards. What do they do on their turn? They planogram to draw 3. I think we run HQ here. We don't want to run last click because they might have stuff that give us a tag. Sabotage 2. We're on 5 hand size. Should we have done that before we ran archives? Yeah. 1 from HQ, 1 from R&D. Okay, so this makes HQ pressure better too. So yeah, we definitely ordered that turn really suspiciously. They're not resing us. I don't know what this is. Archer. Cali testing. We'll trash that bad pub. So they have 2 cards in hand. We'll just take money here. And then next turn we can consider finalitying through the Mousela. Love going against Esso with my Bloop deck. We're both going to suffer the consequences of my actions. Bloop is better than I think it is. Just nobody breaks it well. Okay, that could easily be the border control, which they res for 3 credits. I think we just tank into it. Yeah, I think we just rush this. It's a Vampire NASA. Ooh. Ooh. Cool. I'm okay with that. That's fine. Resing that for 5 is good for them. But there's not a lot of money in these decks. Spending 7 for, or 5 for an ice is kind of expensive. What do we lose? Overclock and finality feels bad. So Rashida, trash that for bad pub. Or we lost our bad pub, right? Yeah, we lost our bad pub. Okay. Now we run HQ because they drew. How many did they draw? They drew, say it drew 2. So we'll go HQ. Zenith's only on a central server, excuse me. So we don't draw on remotes. Hedge fund, that's good for them, but they have to spend their whole turn playing that. I think we go again. Cool, I'm okay with that. It's how people react to all ice and unfair. Yeah, how's it going? It's like, it's a difference between the deck, there you go, being like an ice that builds into your game plan or just like being generic like wall. Okay, so we know they have hedge fund. We haven't seen the Managarm, but they could have shuffled it back. And 2 cards in archives. We're just going to draw. Like if we draw into a finality, we can close the game. Chastushka might close the game too, especially because they're not resing us on HQ. They just do credit hedge fund. Yeah, I think we'll just throw the finality out for 2 credits. Or sorry, the Chastushka for 2 credits. Let's see if they res here. 9 credits. They weren't resing before. Finally, it's a Eula. All right, that eats our end the run, but their money goes down too. We can install the paperclip for 3 with bad pub. No, that fires. That's fine. There's no way through this. If we liberated, we could have gone through it. All right, well, we just need to hit the table. We might as well run archives. We could draw into dirty laundry, but whatever. Yeah, Ghost Tongue finally getting its credit. Yeah. Oh, hey, you spoke ill of Ghost Tongue. They lost a Fairchild and the border control. Wow. But they have 3 credits. They're struggling. You see how the economy and on pair is feels a bit inconsistent. All right, we're not in a rush to play this. Okay, well, All right, so problem is we need to get more sabotage down. Just like an Enga here would be good. Like we're running every turn. Getting that disruption means that the HQ pressure is stronger. We'll tank through Vampire and Nasa, right? Oh, austerity. Oh, hopefully we draw into our one pinhole, but we don't have to deal with this for a while. So we want to sabotage every turn. Let's go find a sabotage card. This is standard stab. Paperclip, okay. Doesn't deal with that very well. Not the worst though. We'll draw once. Oh, we only have another click, excuse me. That's fine. This gives us only 3 clicks a turn, and eventually they can score out from hand. They can actually do that pretty aggressively with this thing here, but I think we're gonna go contest that. This costs us, they gain 2 credits, we lose 1. We take 2 net damage, which with this hand, it's not the worst. We probably should just APOC. We just can't APOC with MCA on the table. Also, APOC puts us down to 2 hand size. That feels really bad. Do we just run with this? We have 1 steel skin in 23. I think we just do sure gamble run this. I think we just take down the austerity. I think their win condition is more important. If we install this here, we can prevent them from getting the credit. Imagine Hippo instead of APOC. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Hippo would have been so good. I think we just install this on there and run. We can choose what's with ice, what subroutine we think is the least impactful. Them gaining 2 credits is kind of important. Black Orchestra is actually not the worst. Hold on. So we install it for 2 with bad pub. Do we break for 6? Nah, it's expensive. So we'll break 1 subroutine. So them getting 2 is kind of bad, but not the worst. 2 net damage. This hand we don't care. They could like blend the water, but I'd be surprised. They can draw cards, I think. I think we don't let them gain credits. I don't know. Them drawing is like kind of important. We lost Botulus and Hippocampic. Okay, still have an APOC in there. They drew up to 2. It doesn't tell us. Oh, 1 card it does. We'll trash that for 4. Or 3, excuse me. Cool. Yeah, Hippo's really good. Again, with Zenith, we want to be running as consistently as possible, so getting just cheaper runs seems kind of favorable. Double Ice, so maybe the Managarm has come back. At this point, we can just hit centrals and kind of try and draw into a finality. Again, R&D is technically open. We can go through that. Overclock, does that help? It helps us deal with that if we want to install our breaker. We can also overclock through HQ. I don't know if they drew 2 agendas. I think we just want to find a finality. Katurga is a finality, isn't it? Yeah, Katurga is a finality. That's kind of cool for 1 credit. I think we want to set up next turn. We could also just like get the time bomb down, but it might be too slow. So I think we Katurga for the finality and fork him. Yeah, we're gonna get a successful run anyways, so we might as well. So we'll do finality. Then we'll just draw. Oh, raindrops, that's nice too. 0 credits. We can actually, oh wait, we can do it. We can hit the Endless Eula. Wait, how much does that draw? So if we raindrops into the Eula, it costs us 0. If we pay 6, which is 5 with bad pub, when the run ends, draw 1 card for each host power counter and gain 3 credits. So we can do the dream. We can raindrops into the Eula to draw 6. It's an off-world. Ooh, that's good for them. Is this the normal streaming hours? Nerd, it's not. Didn't think I could catch a stream from the EU. This is by no means normal. Happy holidays. We were meant to stream last week, but we didn't. So here we are. Okay, so cards in hand. They had to marrow. They marrowed from HQ. So HQ pressure seems a bit better, considering they probably threw out their worst card. But when we're on game point, it's kind of risky to marrow from R&D, to sabo from R&D. So if we raindrops HQ, it cost us 5 credits. We're down to 5. And then we draw a lot, which is probably economy. I'm going to do that, not because it's correct. But we get our money back because it's really fun. The dream. This is the best interaction with this card. Absolutely bonkers. So good. So we have to let the subroutines fire. We're going to draw 6, gain 3 credits. No, thank you. So we're actually going to let the subroutines fire because we didn't break them, even though they generally cost the same if you have your fractor. And then we're going to get 6 power counters on here. Shouldn't it have power counters? Does JNOT not do power counters? Government subs. That didn't work. That didn't work. Why did that not work? So we should draw 5 more. It didn't count the breaking, maybe because we did the text up here. Yeah. I wonder if that's because it's not implemented or because of the way this works. So we draw one more and draw one more because that was the Zenith draw, right? Yeah, one more. Okay. It doesn't work with the pay because they didn't fire. Yeah, right. Should have let them fire one by one. Yeah, that's tedious. This is simpler. And you get them after the run, so it doesn't like impact the access. We hit a government subsidy. Defensive upgrade in there. Okay, so we want to probably finality this turn. So the question is how we do it. I reckon we can just do sure gamble finality. Our hand size is a bit messed up. +3 credits. I think it gives you the credits though, because the credits happen regardless. Yeah, it gave us the credits. Hey, Pouch. Hey, Happy New Year to you as well. Yeah, I think so. I think the EULA break all button doesn't count as firing. Yeah, that one it did do. Okay, so I do think we just do sure gamble, finality, clear the tag to take on no risk. Draw one card. Honestly, wait, are these attached? Yeah, they're attached. So if you don't draw a card, you don't sabotage. So yeah, I guess we're gonna draw a card. Oh, buffer drive sick. All right, they can sabotage too. We have a click left too to check archive, so it's a fork between the mouseless. What does this cost to break? 3 to install and then 6 more, so it's most of our money. Oh, we lost the dirty laundry? For real? Thinking. So they did 2 from top of R&D. So archives actually has fresh cards here. So we could float a tag and maybe die. Or we can install this, we go down to 9, then we can break for 6. I'm gonna install it. Admittedly, it makes the Liberate accounts hard to play. But we probably should install it. Whether we break it's a different question. We don't want to break all of it. I think we just break 6 to go down to 4. This is expensive. We can just let this fire. We're going to clear the tag anyways, which is 2 cards and a credit. So net damage we don't mind. So this is C4 cards. We have Obokata cards. We lost a paperclip. Fantastic. We don't have Bologna credits. That actually might be worth considering. Bass, that's fine. IP block, okay. Gaslight, that's fine. Honsei review, nothing there. I think we just run archives here. See 3 cards. There's the longevity. All right. Whew. Okay, our economy is falling apart. Sabotage. It's super rough when you don't have consistent recursion in Ampere. Yeah, most decks are at a minimum playing 3 spin doctors, so like the recursion is way more consistent than this, right? And not only is like spin doctor one of the better things because you can leave it on the table, all the other copies like simulation reset, you have to fire on your turn, so it's kind of hard. Yeah. Just all mid value FA. Thanks, you too. Excited to say it's Zero's building unfair. Did you expect anything else? I don't think draw and sabotage are attached. It's may draw and sabotage, not may. Oh, for real? Each time you suffer core damage, you may draw 1 card and sabotage 2. I think they seem attached. Biotic Bass Cali. Yeah, that tracks. Yeah, this is the sort of Ampere that we were like, the first Ampere deck we built was this sort of thing. And we found it to be incredibly inconsistent. Just like getting your economy up and then dealing with runner pressure and still getting fast events pieces. Like the amount of fast events you can play in your deck, lining up with the amount of agendas in your deck, it's not linear. Yeah, it's not bad. It's all. I'd trade the Apox for a Hippo, I think. That is. Yeah, we did have the second APOC, but I don't think it was worth playing. And that's largely because trashing your cybernetics is like way too big of a cost. Maybe that's actually a reason why Hippo can't pick is in the deck, because you end up with like low hand size pretty quickly. But yeah, it's really difficult. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of APOC in this, when just getting enough program destruction, or sorry, ice destruction with Hippo could be good. Hey, cheers. You too. All right, let's try the other version. Let's just try like a very no nonsense version. And again, this is the version that I think Erin, she was playing. I think it's like 1 or 2 card different. but I think it's good. It probably doesn't have a good enough economy. It's also not teched for the meta. Like it doesn't have any of the tech cards that you're expecting to play in your deck to deal with some sort of stuff. But it just has that good disruption. Again, maybe after this we'll try and build an Enga deck and just play like Hippo, or not Hippo, excuse me, play Maw in either Alice, but probably in Pashiko, and it'll be good enough. Cool. I don't even know if this version has enough card draw. I'd be surprised if it does. Okay, runner deck, run based. That's a bad name, but whatever. It gets it to the table. Impair is great, but I don't think my style of it is that great. So I think, say it, good game by the way. I think that's kind of where I stand on what's it called, on Impair, is that I don't think it's going to be a better fast advanced deck than any other fast advanced deck in the meta. Now the question is, are we trying to find the best deck or a fun deck? Obviously, different question altogether. But what I do think is interesting is it's really hard to play around them when they're actually playing things that punish you for running into them improperly, right? So the idea is that you could take an Impair deck and then play every like on tag trap and on net damage trap and all the weird stuff. Because let me tell you, if they install 2 upgrades in a remote server, it's so hard to correctly call what that is. And I feel like the confusion is probably better than just jamming all the mid-range value cards in a deck, which runner decks are generally okay at dealing with mid-range value cards, right? Like, it's not that it's unfair to play Mouseless and Eula in the same deck. Runners are expecting to deal with those problems, but like suddenly having a deck that has like Snare and Prisec in the remote server, people don't play around that. Can you get your punishment consistently enough to actually capitalize on that? I don't know. But that's the way I think Impair could have a stronger potential, is building something that is unique to them by making something that's a nightmare to run into, as opposed to just like, yeah, it has all the best cards, which you were expecting anyways, abstractly. I think it's a really good mid-range, but I just don't think mid-range is good that good at the moment. I don't even know if it's the best mid-range you can play. I'm a little mad on the fast events Impair. The agendas don't line up. Yeah, the agenda's also like, you're playing a lot of blank 3/2s, unfortunately, which obviously is not great. Oh, our good friend Isawak. Love to sabotage that. Hey, best of luck. Have fun. Opening hand. We have no sabotage. We have the one of Mamie, which is like not bad. I don't think they're going to threaten our resources that well. We have the Dr. Nuka, which is, these are the 2 resources in the deck. Dirty Laundry, Sure Gamble, and MK Ultra. MK Ultra is the breaker you want if you want to face check into, generally into Jinteki Sentries, which is good. I'm assuming Iswak decks might just be full trap based, and we're not running Light the Fire, and nobody is. Unfortunately, having big hand size. Ooh. Either the biggest bluff, maybe the biggest bluff ever. Ooh, terrible hand. You don't have to tell your opponent that, obviously. Maybe they do have a bad hand. We could keep this. It like doesn't do any of the cool S's stuff. I'm gonna mulligan it for that sake. Like, yeah, we want Running Hot. The other deck isn't running Hot. I totally forgot about that. It's like the best Essa card. Dana, how's it going? It's going well. How was your holidays? I really want to talk to you, Dana, about, and I haven't listened to your recent stuff about the Scarlet Keys, but I finally finished Scarlet Keys, and boy, do I have opinions on them. So I guess we'll find out if it's a bad hand. Anansi Lacosta Mavirus Snare. That hand seems doable. Okay, so they're going to be being Lacosta. They're playing a lot of traps. So like low hand size, yeah, right? That's going to be difficult. Okay, so if we hit a snare in this hand, it's not great. Do we want to take core damage against a damage deck? I think we're going to do it regardless, on the basis that that's kind of what we signed up to do. This hand, we kind of want to get the Hippo on the table. If we don't have a Hippo, we have no way of dealing with the Nancy in the late game. Like, you just have to hit the Nancy's or you have no shot. So we'll just try and set up. Face check and I'll donate. It's like, so the face check would be okay if they showed an agenda in there, but the fact that there's no agendas, there's only like one hit that's really good. I appreciate it. If they were Genesis a card we sabotage to the game, they win in spirit. It's gonna happen. It's already happened today. It'll happen again. All right. Do we want to Ghost Tongue this hand? I don't know. We have to get this down first. We do have to get this down first. Mystic is worth installing, right? Like, you don't want to install too many cards. This is gonna be a lot of value. Now we install this, and then I think we just click for credits, or click for a credit. Maybe we draw here. We didn't sabotage this turn. We did not. This is ugly. That's actually a hard hand to play. Can we get non-spoiler Scarlet Key thoughts? Yeah, so non-spoilers. So this is kind of marginal spoilers because it's on the first page of the rules book. They added a new mechanic that's called, that's Lacosta with Snare maybe. Maybe it's an agenda, I don't know. They added a new mechanic about hidden cards that are in the shadow, and you have to spend actions basically flipping over cards and seeing what they are. Sometimes they're decoys, sometimes they're not. And I do think it's important to understand that when you're deck building, because there's certain things that count as free exposed cards. I think we can leave it there, I guess. I don't know. I think my thoughts are actually pretty nuanced, and I don't think I enjoyed it the most. In fact, currently with only a single play, and that's the problem with Scarlet Keys. We'll talk about it after. Is that I think my play of this game was so unique compared to everyone else, because you can choose where you go on the map. Sorry, let me play my turn first. Okay, so I do think we put down the Ghost Tongue. We just hope we keep the Dirty Laundry.